Hello, everybody. Welcome to what is sure to be one of the most exciting streams of your life. I am going to be joined by my longtime friend, Brendan Patrick from Arsenal Pass, Zach's new, of course, enemy. We're going to be talking about the Blitz format. We're going to be breaking it open. I'm going to be playing in Vegas, so I need somebody to tell me what's good and what's not good. And that's what Brendan is here to do. Check in with the chat real quick. I just want to make sure everybody is online and everything's good to go. If you can drop me a line in the chat, that will be great. Pocknock saying we're live and the audio is synced. That's right. We're wrecking it today. We've got nothing but good vibes in the room. DM Ramon in the chat. See you. Hey, cheers. Thanks for doing that great commentary. That was awesome. Got Brendan here on the laptop. I've got my, of course, webcam here to do my top-down shot, so everything's ready to go on that front. And what I'm here to do today, just to give you guys a little primer. So, I'm playing in a team event in Vegas. Will I be in Team Arsenal Pass and coming? We'll see. We'll see. But I will be playing with some Wolfpack members, Zach and our buddy Matt. But the problem with me is that if I'm playing in a team event, I have to play a really good deck. I can't be goofy whenever there's other people relying on me. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be trying to eliminate any idea that I have about some of these weirder Blitz decks having a shot. So I'm going to be playing Icelander. I'm also going to be testing some Kasai. Brendan's got a gauntlet of good Blitz decks that we're going to play into. Just kind of look at the interactions, see if there's anything there, see if there's potential, or if we can go ahead and mark all of those heroes off of the list in anticipation of Vegas, and then I will actually be able to be a participating member of that event. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm gonna switch my shot over here. We'll get Brendan in the party, and there I am. There you are, Brendan. What's going on? How are you?
How's it going? I didn't know that Zach and I are enemies. Oh, we were best friends. What happened?
No, yeah, you guys are known enemies now. I'm gonna pump up your audio too. You're known enemies. It's all, everybody talks about it in the Flesh and Blood community. It's one of the great storylines of our time. Hey, I want to open it up to you, Brendan, because check this out. I know this is big of me, so you don't have to say it out loud. But you know what I want to know? I want to know right off the bat. I didn't even tell you I was going to ask you this. I've heard Zach ramble on about this falling out with Arsenal Pass and this team drama that happened, all these kinds of things. And I've only heard one side of that story. And I know that that all of our viewers probably have heard Zach's side of the story as well. What do you want to clear the air? What do you want? You want to say anything? Do you want to get anything off your chest about this?
Yeah, so I guess it depends what kind of story, what side of the story you want. There's I think there's the theatrical side, then there's more I don't know, the personal side. So we'll keep it tame, right?
All right, keep it tame, yeah.
Keep the Wolfpack Arsenal Pass rivalry going. But basically, we were coming towards the tail end of Tales of Aria. We had participated in nationals. Basically, the season was over. Hayden had participated in his nationals as well. I was at that time we were doing testing early in the morning, so that's about, I think it's about 4 or 5 a.m. for us, sometimes 6, depends on daylight savings times. And yeah, it would be me, Zach, Tim, Ian, Dante. I think Dante had started to fall off a bit as well at that time because of his new job. And then Hayden and Dan, because the times were so rough, they would actually test before us, about 2 hours before.
Okay.
So towards the tail end of that meta, Hayden approached me and told me that he was, it wasn't really working out for him. It's kind of like a 2-person testing group for him and Dan, and he wasn't getting much out of it, and that he was going to actually leave. At the same time, for about a few weeks, I had started testing in the evenings because I could no longer make the morning sessions. Basically, my work changed, as well as, I got mono around that time as well, and I just could not wake up that early, and I don't know, I had to move towards an evening schedule, which I did a lot through streaming. So I started streaming, playing with people, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that, around the time that Hayden approached me telling that he was going to potentially move to another group, I was like, I agreed with him. It made sense for me as well. I just couldn't make the times. And we always approached our testing group with this ideology. I think that it's our fault that we didn't clarify it enough. And that's that we we don't want to create the illusion that we're a team, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but I like to approach tournaments and approach these testing sprints more as colleagues, right? We're working together for this specific actionable goal, whether it's US Nationals, it's the Pro Tour, and then after that, players are everybody is free to sort of reevaluate and figure out where they want to go. So the time at which we decided to do this was that exact time period, right? U.S. Nationals was over, and basically there was nothing to really prepare for. So that's when we kind of decided, like, yeah, we're gonna split off. I told Hayden, I was like, yeah, I think I told me you should absolutely do that. I think that get the best testing team you can, et cetera, et cetera. So then, yeah, we let Zach know. Obviously, that went how it did. the only gripe that I have to keep, and this will be nice for the narrative, is that it wasn't really cut off, right? It was news, like he didn't know about it, but we took time to talk on Sunday. So I talked to Zach and Tim. I talked to them for about an hour, at least. And throughout the whole conversation, it was all good. Yeah, no problem. Sounds good, et cetera, et cetera. Like, oh yeah, totally aligned. And then after that, it was just like, then the stream happened. So I was very surprised. I didn't know that anybody had taken it badly or that there was sort of any kind of miscommunication, because the only feedback I got was positive. But yeah, so I mean, that's really how it started. And then we sort of hashed it out and clarified it a bit more. But I think it just comes from, like, the root of it is that Hayden couldn't really make testing times anymore, and he wanted to go his own way, and I absolutely could not. Hayden had Dan to play with. I didn't have anybody to play with. So we round up, creating a new testing group. I never call them teams. And that was focused on playing in the evening. And at that same time, Sasha Markovic, my friend, and the person I tested with back when I got into the game, who competed in the first constructed calling with him as well, he had left Legend Story Studios, so there was an opportunity for us to work together again. And we picked up Michael Hamilton as well. So that's really the story from my end. The funny part, and you can rub this one in Zach's face, is that, I mean, Zach can tell you guys all he wants to, right? He can come on the stream. He can do his like wrestling talk and hype it up. But Zach and me I think we're just we like each other too much, and I think we like too many of the same things, and we're kind of always going to be friends. Because, I mean, this bad blood lasted for about 24 hours probably, and then past that, I mean, as soon as we get to an event, I mean, Zach likes the same food I do. He likes the same drinks I do, and we're gonna hang out. And, like, I don't know. I just love Zach as a person. I don't hold anything against him, and yeah, he's a great friend to have. I think that, I mean, that's just kind of our story. I know that might make it less exciting, but
I was gonna say
that's probably as honest as it gets.
He also stabbed you in the back, when he told you that everything was fine, and then eviscerated you on stream. So I think there's a good reason to keep the bad blood a little, at least the room temperature.
Room temperature, yeah. So my approach to all that is that, life is just like too short. It just doesn't matter, right? It happened, and I'd rather just hang out with the people that I like and have a good time and just forget about it. Because, like, end of the day, like, who cares? But I do like the new rivalry, right? Because now we get to make fun of them. We beat them on stream. There's a theory. There's the rumor. Or sorry, not a theory, but there's a rumor that we might have lost a team draft. I don't buy it.
I did hear that. What's crazy is I actually heard that from both sides. I heard Hayden said that I listened to your podcast the other day, and I heard I think it was Hayden that talked about going 5-4 in the team draft, and then even Zach told me. I think he texted me. We just crushed Arsenal Pass in the draft because they don't really know how to play Flesh and Blood unless they have some fundamentally broken deck that they can take as a kind of a asterisk win on a pro tour or something. So that's the side of the thing that I got. I didn't know if that was accurate or what.
I mean, it's an adorable text. I'll level with you there, but yeah, I mean, I can definitely confirm that it's 100% false. I mean, we swept them 6-0. Honestly, it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's go to what are we going to do in Vegas anyway? Are we doing something? We should set up some kind of a situation. Well, maybe it's just the finals of Team Blitz. Who's your team?
Yeah.
Did you find a team, or are you still floating around?
My team is Sasha Markovic and Sean Yang. Sean, I haven't met before, but I think he recently like he's a Kiwi. He recently graduated, and he's kind of in the States right now, so he's gonna play with us.
Okay.
One of Sasha's friends.
Last I checked with Sasha, he was just kind of a washed up Welcome to Wraith player. Would you say that
God, he was.
he's
Yeah.
improved since that moment, or?
So this is such a funny story because this goes back to like some of the core tenets we have with our testing groups is that we don't really add people in, especially like midway through the process. It's more like we commit to a group and we have these goals, and yeah, it's just we set rules to not do that because people start to just kind of creep in because they're friends of friends, friends of friends. It's like it always makes sense to add them. So, but we did add Sasha, main exception. And man, he was terrible at the game. I was legitimately scared because here's this guy I've been talking up, showing to my friends, and he can barely play the game, and he was having like an existential crisis too because he hadn't played like he had helped design cards potentially or just even running some of the admin stuff, but he hadn't really played the game, and he was like, this is not the Flesh and Blood I remember. And yeah, the funniest thing about Sasha is that he didn't know what like any of the cards did because he knew their text from like the internal text, like the development text or like whatever the early text was. And then he would be like, that draws a card too? Why did they put that's ridiculous? And it's just hilarious.
Hey, tell me this. This is one more thing before we get into the Blitz format. What is, and maybe you can't say too much, but like, what was Sasha's take and perspective coming from the original kind of those early days of Welcome to Wraith when you guys were playing Katsu, Ninja Turtle, that kind of stuff, and seeing what it is now? Like what was the reaction to that? Was it like, this is not like we need to slow the game down, or was it like, I just need to get ready? Or
So Sasha came to play with us when Viscerai was still legal, and we were kind of coming off of Blitz, right? So Viscerai in Class Constructed, he didn't kill as fast in Blitz, but he functioned pretty similar, right? You'd have 2 to 3 turns of maybe poking, high value turns, and then you would just kind of pop your Scalata and Sonata and just like kill your opponent. And yeah, I mean that's not the Flesh and Blood that he knew or that he really liked. So he was not. I would say it wasn't positive. At first, he was definitely. I was concerned for him. He was getting a little depressed there. But that like is it better? Is it worse? Like that's a good question because I think from like a nostalgia perspective, like a lot of us that came from Welcome to Wraith, we do hold on to like these boomer ideas of like pitch stacking and these long grindy games. And is that actually more fun? I mean, probably not for most people, but I think that the main issue that Sasha might bring up or that I would bring up is that like with the current game design, it does feel like we've reached like a critical maximum where we're now just kind of getting a different flavor of the same format sort of every set. There's some differences here and there, right? Like Prism is able to kind of come in and play the game because Starvo's really popular or Oldhim becomes popular, but we really exist on this hyper aggressive and this kind of polar hyper defensive area of like the meta, and these mid-range decks or the decks that just exist in the middle which is also combo decks, have just not really had a chance to like even play the game. Specifically the design of Starvo Star of the Show, like that hero design, not only was it kind of breaks the tenets of the game, it's not very fun, but it makes it so most decks can't even function when competing against it because some decks struggle against big damage, some decks struggle against disruption, some decks struggle against like multiple action points or many things on a chain, and Starvo just does all three, and there's not many decks that can deal with having all three happen to them. So I think Starvo rotating out is definitely good for the game, but my main sort of focus is on these aggressive decks, right? We keep nerfing things, we keep banning things, but like these hyper aggressive ultra linear strategies like Chain and to an extent Briar are really overshadowing a lot of the game design in my opinion. This is kind of a weird point to make after we just brought Kano to the Pro Tour, which is as about diametrically as opposed as possible to that deck, but that's a whole nother thing, right? Like there's still like that's like finding a little golden nugget in design.
Yeah, I know that that's a common thing. This kind of the poles keep getting pushed farther and farther apart. But like, is the solution even just not even the technical banning or rotation or whatever, but do you just, are the aggro cards too good and the defensive cards too good that it has to crush down so that the middle can go both directions?
Yeah, so I think that is what it is. Like, so with the aggressive decks, you often end up in a place where if you're not fast, if you're playing an aggro deck and you're not playing the fastest aggro deck or the most proactive and the most linear deck, it's like, why are you even doing it? There's almost no point. Because they kind of, a lot of them operate on the same axis, so you might as well be doing one that's doing it the best. When it comes to defensive decks, yeah, I mean, those have seen success, but I think they've been more overshadowed by aggro recently. If we ever go to the other side, like let's say they ban enough aggro cards that we flip over to defensive,
Terrible.
that's going to be a very bad state for Flesh and Blood. Yeah, because there's control decks, there's fatigue decks, there's attrition decks, and like those are one thing, right? But I mean specifically fatigue, where you literally lay down all your cards and play life gain and play all the defense reactions, like that's not Flesh and Blood by any means, right? It technically is because you're playing the game, but like that specific strategy also ruins the game experience mostly at the casual level because the solutions to beat it are often complicated. So I'm happy that we're not there, but I would like there to be, I'd like there to be room in the middle. I'm not saying every hero has to be playable. It's just, I feel like it's either hyper aggressive or hyper defensive.
That's the thing that I always come back to when I think about it, though, is so in order for fatigue not to be a thing, so let's just assume 12 damage a turn is the standard. Mm-hmm. So you have to have offensive cards that are strong enough to get over that hump of 12 damage per turn. But then as you're doing that, it's like, well, now what is the point of even blocking at a certain juncture? Because all these cards are so much better than 3 in value. So then you have to print better defensive cards, and then you're off to the races. So it's kind of hard for me to find a way out that's clean and clever, that's still playing to the fundamental reality that it's just a few integers pushed one direction or another that can really take this to the next level.
Yeah, I think that there's always the option, which is kind of a cop out, and I don't know what this card would look like, the exact design, but you could potentially create a generic card, a silver bullet card that in some way interacts with players that only defend, right? Mm-hmm. Or that are just defending. I don't know what that card looks like because most of the ideas that I've come with, they end up being just kind of the best card in an aggro deck anyway, especially one with on-hit triggers that are going to make you block. But like, I think that might be the solution because at the end of the day, we never want to be in a fatigue meta. It's never a good place to be, and I think that it could really hurt the game on a casual level. I don't think we're not there yet. We haven't even gotten close, but like Oldhim is the only character that I'm worried about because his hero ability is just, I mean, it's just built different, right? That thing is on a different level than some of these other abilities. Like it's like a pseudo drone of brutality that tempos a card of puts another card on top of the opponent's hand. It's crazy. Yeah.
So let's dive into that, right? Talking about Blitz, I think a lot of people have their eyes on the Battle Hardened from Jersey, where you had 6 of 8 Oldhim in the top 8. You had an Oldhim deck in the first place spot that is effectively all defense reactions. Are we there now in Blitz? Like what's your take on all these Oldhims being at the top, and is that now the new target for everybody coming into Vegas?
So I don't think so. But I mean that's the issue, is that the data suggests yes. That Oldhim deck that won is very interesting to me. I played it. I even took time, to build that deck up. I all respect to the pilot and the brewer, but I think the deck it's an abomination. It's the amalgamation of defense reactions and life gain, and trying to swing the hammer and maybe hit an Oak and Old. You can pitch stack it, of course, as well, which is cool. But it's hard for me to see a deck like that reigning supreme, right? Because any sort of fatigue strategy, what you do, and if you're doing this at a high level event, which I guess this one technically was, but you sit down in front of your opponent and you say, all right, the impetus is on you to win the game. That's it, right? I will simply sit here and I will spectate you trying to win the game. Mm-hmm. And you may think you're prepared. You might think you've practiced how to fatigue, but there's a massive diminishing return on that, and to an extent, it doesn't matter because your opponent will have if they're ready, right? They have an exact game plan to combat exactly what you're trying to do, right? And I feel like the really the ball is in their court, and they have sort of the leverage to beat you. I don't think the fatigue is a good strategy. I really don't. If they print enough cards that it is, I'll probably say so. But my knee jerk is that I don't think fatigue is ever going to be the best strategy in this game.
How did that deck lose to Kano?
How did the deck lose to
Or
Kano?
win
Well,
Kano? How did Kano lose to that deck, rather?
well, yeah. So I think that the sort of the community sentiment, from what I've heard, and I'm not too exposed to Flesh and Blood social media, is that, but most people think that Kano can't beat that deck, and they think that Kano can't beat Oldhim, but I don't think there's an easier deck to beat as Kano than that Oldhim deck. A lot of people think that defending against Kano is really what shuts him down. It's not. It's a combination of pressure and defense. Like either or, right? Either one of the extremes, like all pressure or all defense they're both bad against Kano. Like you need to be doing both to some extent. Like there are going to be games where if you do all attack, all pressure, right, you might just aggro them out and Kano's deck just doesn't give it to him. That will happen, yes. But this all defense and giving Kano 100% agency to set up the game, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a good strategy to me.
Because you're effectively saying that Kano through, let's just say, AB5 on a turn that they can choose, on a stack of cards that they can set up as they want, will definitely get the job done.
Well, let's talk about this, right? Because we talk about AB, we talk about Arcane Barrier, and we talk about like high Arcane Barrier. Like it does, like AB4, AB5, things like this. So everybody, when they go to evaluate Kano and like playing against Kano, and they think about, okay, I'm gonna have high Arcane Barrier, they just automatically envision in their mind that they're gonna have enough cards. They're going to be able to pitch one card or something, present lethal, because that's what you need to do. You need to force the Kano to overextend into you, and at the same time have enough cards in hand to block their turn, right, or to successfully effectively utilize your Arcane Barrier. But that's just not how the game works. Kano attacks you on his turn, rips a card out of your hand, maybe rips your arsenal as well off your crown. There are Kano's on 7. You have an Oakenold in hand. Do you swing the hammer and then maybe burn you a little bit more? Maybe they just take the hammer, or do you overextend, put your Oakenold out? Now you have one card in hand, and if you might have AB5, but you effectively only have AB3 because you have 3 resources. Like the Kano deck is all about creating windows. The amount of Arcane Barrier, while it's not helpful for them to have more, it is somewhat irrelevant if you're on what I think is the most effective Kano strategy. So yeah, I mean, AB4, AB5, that's the thing about Blitz, right? Everybody's got AB. Everybody's going to have AB. You're not going to get any sort of like free wins, and you're not going to play these like low to the ground aggro decks, tempo decks for Kano. Nevertheless, Kano is about creating windows. Like Arcane Barrier as an equipment is a permanent resource on the battlefield, but the amount of cards they can pitch to that is finite per turn. Yeah. And you can manipulate that as the Kano player.
Yeah, it really just becomes about how many cards can I get out of their hand and in what order and in what sequence where I can flip on my free turn, basically, and get some damage through. So I feel you there. Well, we've talked about Oldhim and Kano. Why not run the other two down while we're here? I know a lot of people watching probably don't have as much time to play and get excited about Flesh and Blood as you and I might. So what about Chain? Why do you have Chain on the table here? That's not always been considered like a top Blitz pick.
Yeah, so Chain's an interesting deck, right? Like Chain lost a lot of really powerful pieces back in the Seeds of Agony ban. Obviously, there's been metas where he's existed past that, but I think the thing that's really pushing Chain over the line is the Spellbound Creepers and his ability to utilize them. Like Spellbound Creepers is debatably more effective against fatigue than Riftbind and Seeds of Agony stacking was anyway, right? Because you don't really have to play towards that end game. You just kind of get the time stat potion out maybe, or you just utilize an effective Creeper's turn. You're just leaking a lot of damage. This deck is obviously, I haven't played it too much yet, but it's probably the one that's most subject to getting fatigued out of all 3 of these, of course. It's a possibility, and I think it's something that you have to evaluate, but immediately thinking, like, if you think about the Chain back from the Ira the Ira meta, right? Where they would play a lot of flick facts, effectively block you, but also present threats. Chain struggled not because of power level, but because of consistency, right? Like when you miss those shackles, you were looking at like 3 to 4 turn cycles, and they were hitting you with command and conquers and all this stuff. So yeah, Chain had a bit of a harder time. Needed to flip the right things off the top back in that meta, but in this one, I think that he's gotten some significant upgrades. And I think the power levels with it. Also, Rosetta Thorn is just like a fundamentally broken weapon. Like it's way better than any like almost any weapon out there. I think it's in contention with, of course, Winter's Wail, but Rosetta Thorn is so much better than what was the one for 2? The Nebula Blade.
Nebula Blade, so. Yeah, so good.
Do you know about this, Steven, by the way? So if you're, by the way, the one this is really important. If you're playing Chain, and this is kind of a classic constructed thing, but particularly against Guardians, what they'll do is they'll leave up like a resource, because they have one this is mostly in CC, they might have one arcane barrier, and they're saving their crown to like kind of block your thorn, right? Because they're about 1 AB. Why would they pack more against Chain? So this weapon actually says you can choose to attack them with the physical damage, but then it says deal 2 arcane damage to target hero. So you can actually target yourself with the arcane damage and keep your boots around.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what they intended, I'm sure.
I mean, if they say target hero, it says yes. Because as soon as I saw this, the first thing I went and did was go read Aether Wildfire. Because if I can Wildfire myself for 6 and hit you for 150, I'm going to do it every time.
And I'm guessing that doesn't work. Or is that the broken deck, that you brought to PT?
It does not say target player. It says opposing hero.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. That's good. That's a good little hot tip. What about Rhinar? So as far as I can tell, Rhinar's game plan is intimidate a bunch of cards and do unpreventable damage. Is that still the case?
Yep. So the Rhinar deck is really powerful. I haven't played it myself yet, but obviously Hayden has talked about it a lot, and I've played against it quite a bit in the previous Blitz season. I think that this is potentially like the boogeyman of the format. I know a lot of people are worried about Oldhim. I'm not. It's mostly Rhinar, because Rhinar can just kill you on turn 0. It can very much kill you on turn 1, rotating back to its cycle after an arsenal. And a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it. Rhinar probably does have a bit of... I think it might struggle a bit against the Oldhim's shield, the stalagmite. Other than that, I think this is sort of the premier turn 1, turn 2 deck in the format. And I think it'll be there.
Well, let's take a look at it. What do you think? You want to get Ryan on the table first?
Sure, or we can roll for the deck, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's roll for it. Sure. Let's do at least a match against each today.
Sure. I got 1 through 4 here, so that's a 6. That's a 4. Oh, it is Rhinar.
It is Rhinar. Boom. So like I said, I'm going to play an Icelander. This is a deck that I've thought a lot about and not played enough to really know any better. But I think, like most people or some people, I was pretty captivated by the idea of it doing so well at the Krakow finals. And I know it was really spec'd to beat Viscera, like we were talking about earlier. But it might still have some play. I don't know. I don't know if it's got it in it or not, but we'll at least test it out. And then I really am looking to, like I said, just mark it off the list. The 4 that you have are pretty high on my list as well. Do you rate Briar much? Like, is it just kind of like lesser than Chain? Is that the idea?
Briar? No, I think Briar is a fantastic deck. I just kind of don't have it sleeved right now. Like the Briar you're playing in Blitz has Plunder Run, and it's just very powerful. Very, very powerful. I'm trying to think about how much AB I run against Icelander. I'm not sure. It's like I can play the 3, but I'm pretty much never going to be able to pitch for 3 anyway. So I wonder if I just play I play 1. The hood. Let me check on the hood here real quick. What is that? What is Rhinar's hood called? The Skullhorn, right?
Yeah, Skullhorn's AB2.
Okay, it is AB2?
Yeah, it's AB2, and you can ditch it if you want to draw a card, discard a card randomly.
Sure. So I'm going to proxy the Skullhorn here. I didn't have one on my list, which will be an upside down Crown of Dichotomy. This will be AB2.
Okay, great. And I'm still deciding on Exude Confidence or Fire Breathing in this deck too, which is, Fire Breathing's a lot less good against an Oldhim with 20,000 defense reacts.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it's a meta call up there. Like, I think Fire Breathing is, it's more, it doesn't have the ability, right? So it's more powerful in general, I guess. But if you expect to be facing an Oldhim in every team, maybe the Exude is the correct decision.
Yeah, it's weird too, and I'll let me tweak up this camera a little bit. I'll kind of talk about at least where my head's at in terms of why I would take it one direction or another. Somebody who clearly you're looking for advice from. So let's actually run the math on these two, which is that Fire Breathing is 2 cards for 4 to start. Like that's where it starts, and Exude starts at 1 card for 4. So like even just as a 0 for 4 that you can play out, and then Arsenal a blue, and then come in and do some arcane damage on your opponent's turn, that's irrelevant. So like Fire Breathing only gets better, I think, at 3 cards in terms of blues invested. But it's the 2 black too. So like, how much do you care about the black?
You gotta think about like why you playing Fire Breathing and why you playing Exude. You're definitely not playing Exude to deal 4 damage, I don't think. Like it's a setup card that's sort of your go over the top, and punishes Oldhim for playing all his D reacts, as well as maybe you set up the potions, you've got the blue hand, and you pump it.
That's right. You just described it.
I'm wondering if this should be. I'm actually just gonna go AB1. I'm not gonna go AB2. So I can't afford it.
Okay. Well, we'll stick with Fire Breathing for now, and then we'll see how Oldhim goes and probably make some decisions there. I'm going to start with Nodes too. Nodes and Goliath Gauntlet are both actually feasible in this. Let's start with Nodes and just kind of scare you and see how that goes. I know you're scared of Arcane Barrier. I'm going to move this camera up to you.
I'll be ahead.
What's new with Arsenal Pass? You guys got anything planned? Any exciting things coming up?
Yeah. So we have some exciting stuff coming up. So we recently did our Kano deck tech, and we did like an additional kind of hour or so deep dive on the deck on Patreon. So moving forward, for this month, I have Tyler Horsepool, who played Prism at the Pro Tour and did pretty well. I have him booked for a deck tech on Wednesday, and might have him write some content for us for Patreon as well. Just write a little article on tips, tricks, or maybe sideboard, whatever he thinks is going to be appropriate. And hoping to get Yuki, the Canadian Ranger player, as well. So just trying to branch out to professional players that have done well in major tournaments or have a class identity. Tyler Horspool really does have an identity to that Prism deck at this point. And I know Yuki, she specifically does, kind of just plays Ranger in most metas. She brought it to the Pro Tour, she won Nationals with it. So getting these sort of, established players to do deck techs or master classes sort of on the AP channel, and giving something extra to the patrons as well. That's sort of our goal for the next month or two.
Yeah, great. Are you? Do you see yourself turning into a full-blown content site, like articles and
Yeah. I mean, is there an opportunity? Maybe, but is it something that I would do or that Hayden would do? Probably not. Arsenal Pass is. It's a very fundamental part of my life at this point. It's part of my identity, and it's a lot of my day-to-day work as well. But Hayden and I both have careers outside of that, and I think that those are ultimately where we want to be putting our times. And I don't think we'd want to stretch to try to create a content site or something like that. It would be a lot of work.
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, you do.
I really do. What are you happy in the? I know you started working, doing some more work or different work recently. Are you feeling good about your moves here recently?
Oh yeah, I feel great.
Good.
Yeah, my new job, I really enjoy it. So yeah, I basically like run my own division. We're like a marketing agency, sort of a portfolio company, and yeah, like I just have a lot of autonomy, a lot of freedom, and I'm able to sort of hire the people that I want to hire. So, I was able to hire 2 employees that work with me in the past couple months, which is just really cool. Um, so yeah, it's a really good spot. I'm really happy to be there, and yeah, we get to do a lot of exciting stuff. Probably be back up in New York here in about a month or so.
Ooh,
Cool.
man, seems like a perfect fit for you. Honestly, doing a little traveling,
Yeah,
greasing
I
some
like
palms.
yeah, it's just like I could never work at like a larger sort of corporation if I could avoid it, right? Like, of course, anybody can and should if they want to or need to, but I just like the opportunity to sort of um, be given freedom and autonomy to just go hit that bottom line, baby.
Yeah.
I like the hustle, right? I like startups and I like the hustle, but there's a lot of just BS that comes with startup as well, like true startup. So being a part of a company that is, a bit like an incubator, where we have the funding, we have sort of the structure, but maintaining a lot of the freedom at the same time. Yeah, it's perfect.
Wonderful. Glad to hear it. First or second?
Your choice.
All right, evens. I will go first. How about that? It's even.
Sure. You're first.
I'll go first. Okay, so who are you? You're Rhinar. How much AB you got? You packing 2?
Just the one.
Just 1.
No respect.
Okay, well. We'll do a blue Voltic from hand. It's going to be 3 arcane.
Take your hand. 3 arcane. All right. I will block for 1 and take 2.
All right, and then I'll pass.
Passing. Yep, sounds good.
Arsenal there.
Draw up.
I'll also,
Interesting.
of course, activate the tunic there.
Gotta kind of remember my Rhinar lines. It's been a minute. I drew another non-6. Somehow, some way.
It's just an inconsistent deck, man. You may as well put it away.
All right, I'm gonna play Sand Sketch Plan.
I'm gonna. Let me look at that. Hold on, I might react to that.
Sure.
Let's see. That's draw, discard 6, search for any card you want, kind of thing.
Yep. So it's gonna search your deck for a card, put it in your hand, discard a random card, then shuffle your deck. And if I discard a card with 6 or more, I gain 2 action points.
Yeah, there's the right answer here. I'm afraid I'm gonna allow you to increase your odds. But then there also could be a situation where you get just a big attack and I don't do anything. All right, so I'm gonna respond to that with the blue Winter's Bite from Arsenal. Discard or pay 1. And it'll also give you a Frostbite.
You did me a service.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So I get a Frostbite as well?
Yeah.
Okay, let me snag a token.
And what I wasn't sure is like, so if you get any cards you want, let's say it's an Alpha Rampage, you just play it. I don't have a chance to respond with Bite. So we'll see how it turns out. That's the kind of stuff that testing is going to help with.
I'm going to grab a token real quick.
Yeah, go for it. And yeah, I do need to lower to 18 there. I'll get Brendan on the case. Yeah, Ryan, I just don't know if he's gonna, like, I'm not really looking to stop the claw. Like, that's fine, but it's not a big deal.
Okay, so that resolves, and I'm gonna search.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if it's a reveal. Put it in your hand.
Chris saying, not a huge fan of the bite in Icelander. I think it's probably one of the reasons to play Icelander, to be honest. Not necessarily here,
right.
but...
So I will have these 3 cards. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2. So it'll be this one. I'll discard. It's a 6. So I gain
an alpha.
2 action points. Yep, it's an alpha rampage. Well. And there's an intimidate trigger as well.
Okay.
You're welcome to just shuffle your cards and then just go off the top. Speed. Now I'm considering popping my bark bun strapping here. You've been kind enough to give me.
Oh yeah, Brendan, knock me to 18 if you would. I'm a wizard.
Oh, you're a wizard, Harry. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna yellow it. I'm gonna pop bark bun strapping.
It's gonna cost you 1 there for the frostbite.
Yep, it's down to 1 resource. Frostbite's gone. Big money. It's a 3. Only 1 resource. Right, so I'm only at 2. Fortunately, that will not be enough for me. Yeah, I took a very greedy line, but it's all right. We're gonna play Wrecker Romp. We'll discard another Alpha Rampage, just intimidate again. It'll just be for 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna respond with Kraken. 1 arcane, draw a card if it hits.
Sure, it'll deal 1.
And then intimidate.
Yep. So yeah, I took a very greedy line there. I kind of forgot what Icelander did, I'm not gonna lie, and I got caught off guard by the frostbite.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Just to make it obvious. Okay, so just 6 coming in. Just 6, right? What's 6 anyway?
Just gonna take those 2 cards.
You got no cards in hand?
Nope, nothing.
You're gonna get a CNC then. You lucky man. Okay. Yeah, let's block CNC and go ahead and take 3.
All right, 15 for you, 17 me, and I will pass the turn.
All right, let's go up top. Tunic. You got 4 in hand, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, what kind of a person are you? 3 from Rhinar. He's really scared of that. Okay. What if we did this? Let's Krakens for 1.
Krakens for 1. Do I care about 1? Guess not really, because there's priority.
It's at
I will block
Arcane
for 1.
Kodachi. Okay, sounds good. And then I'm actually going to pass.
All right, all good.
Send her back.
Yep, I'm just going to play a Pack Hunt for 6, pitching Smash Instinct. So it will intimidate 1 card.
Let me see here. No cards in hand currently.
I got the 1 in hand.
All right, we're gonna Aether Vein for 1. Response.
That one I'll take.
Okay, draw. This is not the time. Okay. Okay, 6, and you got to intimidate coming. That's right.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so you're safe. We block with you. We hate to see it, but that's kind of where we're at. Okay, let's go ahead and block here with the wildfire. And that'll be it.
Okay.
Take 3.
12 plays 16. I will move to end.
Yeah, good.
Ooh, Arsenal, you're up.
Tunic coming up. Let's do this. Let's go. Huh. It's kind of some weird sequencing. Ugh. We hate this card in the arsenal right now. Hate it. I can't stand it. Let's do it like this then. Let's do a fire breathing. Can I have 1 floating? Coming at you for 3 currently.
Yeah, I'll block with my scabskin leathers here.
Okay. All right, let's go +1.
Yep.
Any responses, etc.?
Nope.
We'll go +1.
Yep.
And then I'll go ahead and tunic for a +1.
Sure. So this is
6 coming at you. Yeah.
All right. Take 4.
And then I will move to the end phase.
You're good. All right. Let's see if we can have some fun. Evaluate the resources. Okay. I'll play Barraging Beatdown Red out of Arsenal.
Yeah. Let's go. Respond with Aether Vein for 1.
Responding with Aether Vein for 1. I'm thinking.
Every time I play this deck, I want more blues.
I'll block for 1.
Okay. And then barraging will resolve.
Okay. So intimidate 1.
2 in hand.
All right. Barraging again.
1 in hand.
Cool. Goliath Gauntlet.
Good. Am I dead?
No, not quite. I'm just gonna play a massacre. Just for +2, +4, 6. We have 6, 12, 14.
14. Let's see. And you got no cards in hand?
Nope. 1
floating.
Yeah, I could have sequenced that differently, but I was afraid about the arsenal more than anything.
Yeah. So we've got ideas. So let's block, of course. 3, 4. I might get more use out of the cap next time, but I don't think there's a next time. I think I get a shot, and then I hopefully can Striders in for some action. So let's go 3, 4, 5.
Sure. And we said we were at
14, so I'll take 9.
cool, down to 3. And that's it for me. I'll pass the turn.
Okay. Okay, over to me. Let's see. Let's think about this. Yeah, I think this is right. Let's get E-Strike for 7.
E-Strike for 7. I'll block for 3. I'll go to reactions.
Pass, yeah. Nice.
With the swing. Even odd. Odd. Gonna be a massacre. So take 2.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
All right, you got 1 card in hand?
Yep, just the one in hand.
Huh.
Oops.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
I'll get to the end phase here, yeah.
Cool. My turn. I will just move to end.
All right, let me see if we got anything there. Okay, we're gonna have a think on this for a second.
Sure.
Okay, let's go. You're at 12.
Yep.
Okay, move to end. I'm gonna do one with Aether Vein.
Yep, no blocks.
Okay. And let me keep thinking here. You're at 11. 1 card.
This deck is way scarier when you have Stir available.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. Okay, these are acceptable things. These are all acceptable. Let's go ahead and pitch here. And instant in a Scalding Rain for 2.
Yep, no blocks there.
Okay. And then end phase successful.
Cool. Arsenal for me.
Okay. Now we've got some beautiful realities here. You got 5 coming in, and I've got Dreams. So there's kind of one out here. You're at 9. I definitely can play to this out, though.
Yeah.
I can play to this out like you've never seen. So, like, this is a great question, right? So I could try to get Channel Link Frigid online here. I don't think that would save me, even if it happened. So I think my answer here is actually Arcane Shenanigans. So let's go Red Voltic. I'm going to pitch the Channel Link. I'm going to do 5 to you on your turn.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be this is for 5. You need to find your second Voltic in order to kill me. Yeah, so it's a weird one because if I block, then the next Voltic can be blocked as well. But there's also Aether Vein, there's like many issues. So potentially my out is also playing a bit risky here. Or, you know, I could always roll the Scabbies.
Now we're talking.
Now we're
playing Brute.
Now we're playing Brute. So now I have to evaluate whether Scabbies or keeping 4 cards and going down to 4 It's going to be a better option for me. I think that it's going to be... I think it's going to be Scabbies. I will block for 1.
All right, 4 in. And I'll move to the end phase.
Sounds good.
All right. Arsenal there. Before you roll those scabs, I might have a moment. Let me see what I get here.
Do you have a priority window before I roll?
Uh-huh. Think so.
Which one?
Like whenever you activate scabs before you actually roll the die, yeah.
Activating.
Because then
Not
it's like...
Not before I decide.
You knew I had the 6.
All right. Well, I've never missed these before. Never in my life.
So before you roll, in response... You got 3 cards in hand there, don't you?
Yep, 3 cards in hand. What you got for me?
All right. Let's activate the Aether Vein there.
Alrighty. Easiest Aether Vein block in my life.
All right, over to you.
Okay. Now I might not need to roll the scabs. Now this is the conundrum. You have 3 cards in hand?
3 cards. And an arsenal. Don't sleep on it.
Don't sleep on it. I'm not sleeping on the arsenal, but that would have to be a D-React. I'm pretty sure I've seen both of them. Basically, I have Bear Fangs, and, well, I don't even know if all of your cards block for 3, but, yeah, if I hit a 6 off the top, I'm trying to think about what my non-6s are, so we've seen, we got a lot of barragings in the deck. The Sand Sketches are out, the Reckless Swing is on the bottom. It feels pretty likely that I would hit it, so, because the Bear Fangs would be for 8, and that's going to go over your 2-card hand.
Oh yeah, you do have to roll. The chat is reminding you.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, because you already put it on the thing. Yeah. Here's that 1 though. I know that Brute Life. Oof, fire.
Chat sounds like they're on my team now.
Yeah, I think so.
It's gonna be a Savage Feast.
Ooh, I love that one. Cost you 1.
Yep, cost me 1. We'll say even odd.
Okay.
It's even, so it's gonna be a Wreck or Romp. Intimidate.
Okay.
And then the draw, is that a trigger? Do you have priority before the draw, or is that?
What is that? A cost? What is the? I can't see the card, but the cost is discarding a card and then.
Yeah, if it's 6 or more, draw a card.
Yeah, the draw is on the stack apparently, so I could respond to that there.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. Well, I think I better. I'll give you a blue rousing. 1 floats. 2 arcane. Next one's +1.
Next one's +1. How many cards do you have in hand?
2.
2 cards in hand, so no matter what, you're going to need to pop your Striders if you want to extend into this. If you don't extend, you're pretty much only banking that I draw a red. But I still keep the card in hand anyway, so I'm fine. So I'm going to... It's for 2, I'll block for 1 and take 1.
Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, your resolve. So we got an Intimidate. I just wanted to show you how scared you could be in case I had a red spell that turn.
Yeah, so I'll resolve the draw. And then... Oh, you have 1 card in hand, eh?
Yeah, I'm dead here.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I've double red, so...
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
How much does your card block for?
You
also have a skull. You're alive.
Yeah, I can't even block the feast.
Oh, you can't. Okay.
Yeah, I blocked the feast for 3, and then. But let's run that back because like this is a good matchup. So that last hand, I didn't see, so I had rousing, so I could come in for 5 max on that one. And I had 5 here, so like pay 2, Striders, Nodes, Rain. So I can come in for like 6 here, but that wouldn't have killed you. We were just shy of that working. So I thought maybe if I got a cheeky Kraken, and then you didn't block, and then I grabbed one up the top, and then I could to do that final 1 damage on the line, but it was
so for me.
Mistakes were made.
I definitely missequenced my and just played my first line wrong with the Barphone Trapping pop. It's just greedy. I don't need to get that greedy, and this is like a very effective, important resource for me throughout the match. But yeah, I think I'm a bit more calibrated now for game 2.
Yeah, me too.
RV. Yeah, the Rhinar RV, whatever. I'm gonna go grab a water real quick, and then I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, sounds good. Colin asking, why wouldn't 6 have killed him? Because he had AV1 on 2 instances, right? So like I can present 6 in 2 instances. He blocks 1, he takes 4, has 1 left. So I was thinking, you know, I was pretty convinced that I was definitely dead that time. No matter how that turn played out with the intimidates and whatnot. So it was really a question of if Brendan's holding like something in hand, like his hand is critical here, and he like wants to get greedy, and he'll take the Aether Vein thinking that he's gonna maybe only has yellows, and he's gonna save a yellow to block the next 2 instances of Arcane. That was what I was seeing as an out there. Okay, so we're back.
Yep, there we go. Me first.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get a turn 1er.
We all love it. It's just so fun when that happens, right?
I literally only play Flesh and Blood for those experiences.
It's just where all the fun.
Oh baby, it's pretty close to a T1. Jeez.
Let's see what Rhinar can do.
We will see. And I wonder, how do I sequence this? Or is it just going to be an Arsenal pass?
Yeah, see, now the pressure's on you.
You know what? We just roll the Scabbies. It's a free roll.
Yeah, easy. Get that 1 out of the way.
Just a 2. So just the 1 action point. That's not very exciting. I will, I'm going to move to end here.
Yeah, that's good. Totally good.
Cool. Draw.
All right, let's activate Tunic. Okay. This is reasonable. I'm gonna play some weird stuff here, man. Let's get strange. I'm not sure it's right. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's wrong. I can't get that strange actually. Let's just play fundies. CNC for 6 coming in.
CNC for 6. That is that's rude. Well, I'm gonna block. Oh, that card doesn't block. Wild Ride, eh? New card.
Isn't that cool? How those cards don't block and they're like normal cards that every other hero would have. Except they just don't block. Isn't that fun?
I'm getting a feeling that that's not your favorite. You're not your favorite design. Yeah, it'll block like this.
Okay, all the goods there. You got it. And then, boy, do I want to activate the Aether Vein, but I'm gonna pass.
Okay.
And Arsenal there. sometimes you get too excited. You know, you gotta calm down, play that fundamental math.
Fundamental math. All right. Well, speaking of fundamental math, I'm gonna roll the scab skins.
How many cards you got in? How many cards you got in hand?
Only 3.
I mean, will you block the Aether Vein or not? That Rhinar 2-card hand is not as scary, let me tell you.
There's only one way to find out. Maybe I'll instant speed Bark Bone Strapping in response and block with that.
Oh, man. No, I'm going to take the sure thing. Go ahead.
Okay.
May as well not let you decide, you know.
Well, your turn.
Oh,
I gotta get better at the dice flip, you know, like
we love it.
Just rolls up.
We love it.
So I will move to end my turn.
Okay. Nice job, Rhinar. You're looking great.
Good to end here.
You know, you're not. You're not good to end at all. I can get some damage through here. I swear. Let me tell you something too. Just a little behind the curtain on Icelander here. I cannot stand Absorbent Aether. Everything about that card makes sense for Icelander. You know, you block with it. You block 4. You pitch a blue. You have 1 for the Aether, 2 for the blue spell. It's a 9 value exchange. The amount of times this card is dead in my hand. Let me count the ways.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. That card kind of blows.
Yeah, thank you.
Is it just +1? The arcane bonus?
No, it's +2.
Okay, so +2 on yeah. See, the amount of resources you need to make that effective is actually. So I'm thinking on like a combo line kind of basis, right? Like maybe if you're playing tempo, but if you're playing tempo, why would you want to direct? I'm thinking Kano, by the way, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Direct is miss, but like the extra 2 resources is so expensive.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay, so we come into the next turn. We go there. We do that. See, like even this turn is problematic.
I mean, you could have rolled a 1.
It's not. Yeah, it's only problematic because you're not doing anything. I guess that's a good point.
Uh-huh.
All right, so if I roll here, we throw this at you. That's cool. And then we've got the same problem that we've had in that we need more blues. Not this Absorbent Aether. So what we're going to do is accept the pass and pass all around. Pass everybody.
Roger. Alrighty.
Everybody gets to pass. Okay. Next up.
So here's the thing about Rhinar too. A lot of people think it's like a scab rolling deck. Turn 0, obviously it's kind of a free roll. But the only reason I can roll scabs aggressively like that on turn 2 is because Icelander does no damage.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get punished for it.
Yeah. You're right. Let's go ahead and Aether Vein for 1 here.
Aether Vein for 1. I'll block for 1.
Okay. Did it. I got 1 floating here.
Aether Vein.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't. I'm about to. CNC, 1 floating.
You know, I really wish that you would stop doing that specifically.
Yeah, so like the thing about Red Absorb, Clint and Colin talking about this, in so many Icelander instant realities in Arsenal, you're going to be pitching a blue to play a 2-cost or a 1-cost anyway, usually a 2-cost, like a blue Voltic or a blue Emeritus. So the thinking is you're going to have 1 floating on that turn anyway. You may as well get 4 defense and +2 to that spell. So it essentially becomes a 6 value card because you have 1 free anyway, but it doesn't always work out like that. Okay, you blocked it?
Yep.
Congratulations. Do those all have block values?
They do this time.
Okay. Good to know.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Would have pretty close to lethal, I think, if I. kept... All right. You on my turn?
In phase, yeah.
All right. Big old 3.
3. Okay, I don't think this is a setup the potions kind of matchup, to be honest with you. Okay, big ol' 3. How many cards you got in your sweet hand there? 0 cards.
Jazz hands.
We love to see it.
Your worst.
We're gonna Aether Vein for 1 there.
Yep, take it.
Okay. All right.
I wonder if, like, I'm supposed to hold this and just pass against Icelander, but...
Okay, things have now gotten interesting. So 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. I'll declare no blocks. Go to reactions.
Oh. Yep.
Pitch the absorb.
Are you about to embarrass me?
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here to do. So I got to, can I just proceed to do all the wizard stuff, or do you have any moments?
No moments.
Okay. So let's crack Striders. Pitch for Wildfire.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, so is Wildfire for 6, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Let me think about this. I have to think about it if I'm dead. So 12. So if you 2 floating, right?
2 floating, yeah.
Yeah, so you have to have a blue in hand. So I can't die. The Wildfire will only block. Yeah, I don't need to pop strapping for this. I'll take the 6 here.
Okay. And then we will rousing for 8.
Oof.
Just wanted to show you that that's possible.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
I've got some work to do.
Okay, and then over to my turn, I'll take up Tunic, pass back to you.
Sure. Well. Right. I'll play Sand Sketch Plan.
Okay, we've dealt with this math before. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I'll grab a blue Rector. Or it's not revealed. Sorry. Guess that one's for the chat.
Yeah, thanks. Just play hands up so we can know how the brain of a true player works. Take a 10, take another.
We'll just go off the top. My blue. Intimidate, gain 2 action points.
Okay, let's see. So then Intimidate goes in the stack, yeah.
Yep.
When I say that because I'm a wizard player now and I can sound smart. Yeah, so that's I got priority. You're passing priority to me, and then I'll take priority. Let's go ahead and activate Aether Vein here for 1.
I'll activate Barkbone Strapping in response.
Okay.
Oh, 6. All right. I'll block 1, 2 resources.
You did it. And Intimidate, yeah.
Yep.
You don't care which.
Yep. Whatever works. Cool. I'm gonna play Blood Rush Billow.
Okay.
Let's see if I'm able to somehow discard my resource card again. Nope. Nice. All right. So I will draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Everything gets +2.
And then you intimidate again.
Yep. Intimidate again. I have 1 resource. Sweet. Well, that's a few more reds than I would have liked to see.
I did a cool thing, but then I'm afraid I'm just going to die now. It's the story of Rhinar.
It is the story of Rhinar. See if we can... I guess we'll Goliath Gauntlet here.
Oof. No like.
Just trying to... I have 2 action points here. Because the Sand Sketch plan... Still got the 2 action points floating. What's the most effective way of doing this? Eight, 10, 18.
Don't say 18.
only you got the skull cap, so let's figure out the other line. How much is that? It's gonna be...
I strategically haven't taken any damage this game.
Yeah, ideally 10, so it could be a lot more. Cool. I'll pitch Savage Swing to play Bear Fangs, so I'll still have the 1 floating.
Yeah. This guy's gone, I presume.
Oh, we gotta draw on this card, right? Yep. Draw.
Oh, here we go. This is my out.
Yeah, it only get... I still the action point. It's just +2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 2, so it'll be this one. It hits the Wild Ride, so it's gonna be another Intimidate, and then this will be coming in for
10?
8, 10. We have 12 actually.
12? Oh, Gauntlet. I have let's see, 12. It puts me at 6. That's a very nice strategic moment there. Very good.
Did get very long. I drew 2 3 costs that are red. No.
Yeah. Yes, accepted. I'll go to 6. Is that right? It's 12, yeah.
Yep.
Or 4, yeah. 6,
12.
yeah.
No, it's only 12. Yeah, and then we'll pitch this Massacre, unfortunately, and we'll just swing for 5 here. Take it down to 1.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about this here is, like, it might be worth taking a Skullcap 1 now and a Skullcap 1 later.
Well, maybe, right?
Because, like, you're not going to be doing instances of, like, a few damage. It's going to be double barraging into, like...
So, if I were you, like, weirdly enough, I'd actually consider Skullcap plus the Tunic.
The Tunic, yeah.
Because you haven't seen any Reckless Swings yet, I don't believe. So, kind of 1 and 2 would be similar in that vein.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, let's do that. I'll activate Tunic, gain a resource, and then kill it. So I'll go to 3.
Mm-hmm. I will Arsenal here.
Okay.
And pass to you.
Still
So that's really the power of Rhinar right there. Is like he can do that on turn 1. So especially if you're playing something like Kano, it's like, oh, it can be intense.
Okay, so let's look at the best situation for this. So we've got, if we hit the Aether Vein, you're on 5 cards essentially. So that at least maybe pulls 1. You might not need that 1 though, you know. Could be dead. This is a really good question here. I don't know the answer. I guess if I did, I'd be like winning things. A couple of different options. And we also have to keep in mind that we could kill you with that blue emeritus and nodes if you ever don't have a hand. So you better keep that in mind, Mr. Rhinar, as well.
Yeah. I've got it in mind.
Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a different line here. I'm going to play Blue Voltic here.
Okay.
And I'm going to decide on the nodes here in just a second. So 4 takes you down to 3. See, it takes you down to 2. So then any of these 3s works. I'm going to go ahead and node this for 4.
Node this for 4. Okay, I'll take 3.
Okay. Is it a yellow?
That's a yellow, yeah.
Okay. I'll move to the end phase.
You're good. What does he have for me?
If it's not that blue emeritus.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, so I'm a little scared to overextend here. Should just get you like that. All right. Get your browsing beat down. I'll play Alpha Rampage. I'll discard a card. Even, odd. Even. Well, good thing I got 2 blues. Intimidate trigger on the stack. 2 intimidates, by the way.
Yeah. Is there any hope? Is there any way out? No.
Good thing.
There is not. No spell. Let's see, you got 1 card in hand. Okay, so we got Aether Vein could do something, and then we're taking, it's 9 with double Intimidate. I block 6. I take 3. That's exactly the right amount. My skull cap has been terribly, terribly disrespected.
It is turned off, sir.
Yeah. Okay, you got it.
Nice.
I had the CLF there, but I figured if you maybe try to go into a big one, and then we can whim for 5 next turn. So, like, I don't know. It feels okay. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, I mean, Rhinar, it feels... So I've never played against Icelander as Rhinar. It does feel like the tax is a bit tough because, like, you know, I really need cards in my hands in the sense that, like, my cards are discarding other cards. And so it could be a tough... I don't know if it'd be a tough matchup for Rhinar, but I think it seems winnable for Icelander. I don't think I'm playing Rhinar to max efficiency. I think I'm a little bit of a Rhinar noob, but...
Yeah. I'm going to swap in 2 more blues here. I feel like...
Do you want to play against any other hero, or...?
Yeah, man, totally. You can run the gauntlet. Anything you want to play? Kano would be weird because I Heart of Ice all the time against Kano, and like it's just kind of a mess.
Yeah, Wizard Mirrors maybe not the most entertaining.
The most exciting.
Yeah, I'll do the... I can do the Oldhim or the Chain. Which one do you think you're better into?
Let's try Chain. And then we can try the Oldhim Slog at the end, because I honestly don't think this deck can beat Oldhim.
So, yeah, I have a bit of a different Oldhim deck. It's a bit more aggressive. Alright. We got our armor.
Okay, let's add... I guess I'll just add Pry, not because I necessarily am going to play it, but because it's a blue that blocks for 3. you actually start playing this a bunch, and it's like, man, I really do need more blues, like constantly. It makes sense. Get it? Because she's ice. Do you get that? The design there.
Does make sense.
Yeah, it's like a lot of
Does
blue.
make sense.
Just like how the yellow light heroes yellow, you know.
Yeah, to an extent, right? Like they've done like I feel like the yellow cards of Flesh and Blood have just been a bit neglected. Like even those heroes, even the light heroes, it feels like it wasn't enough. Like I wish Icelander's ability was actually yellow, even though it's off theme. Well, particularly because the yellow wizard cards literally go in the garbage can as soon as you open them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like the yellow color strip is the mid-range deck of Flesh and Blood, right?
It's just this like in between. I'm trying to figure out like, yeah, I probably just play it like this armor.
I still too. I feel like even this pre-Uprising Icelander has not really been like solved yet. I think there's like one more iteration that you could figure out. I may try. If I'd had the money, that would have been better last game. I'm gonna try the Goliath Gauntlet here too. That's something I've been wanting to test.
Sure.
If I had the money, I think what the thesis is kind of like, you really want to be able to do kind of that double-pronged pressure. You know, you cracking up front, they pitch a card, you attack for 6 or 8, they got a block with 2. Then at the start of their turn, they got 1 card. You cracking again, you arsenal, 2 or 3 arcane, and then you kind of back around to the cycle. So I just don't think you can do that to Oldhim.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's more like, at least the way it was played before was a bit. It would poke, of course, but it was kind of a combo deck around fire breathing, so
yeah.
potions and all that. But I think that this Uprising is pretty fun. Uprising's funny for Wizard. So will Uprising make Wizard better? A lot of people think like, oh, there's more cards. Definitely. Potentially no, actually. So let's say they bring in Icelander. It counters Kano. Icelander can't beat anything else because it's Wizard. They always make Wizard purposely bad, which is, I know that's a funny thing to say, but like Wizard is not designed to be the best deck in Flesh and Blood. I think Icelander is going to be better. Is going to beat Kano in the mirror. Maybe we can work around that, but yeah. So if Icelander can hate Kano out of the format, and at the same time encourage everybody else to be packing high AB, so you can't play these greedy Kano lists, but is also fundamentally not powerful enough to be a top deck. I think Uprising can actually have a negative effect on Wizard, which is kind of a funny thing.
Kind of funny, isn't it?
Negative effect on its ability to win. Do you want to go even or odd? You pick.
Yeah, you go. I'll be evens. I'll go first on evens there.
Sure. All right. Your choice. Or you're going first.
Yeah, I'll be doing it. Let's see. What do I do against Chain? What does Chain even do? It attacks a lot, does a lot of damage, that kind of thing. Yeah, okay. I get it. What's your AB situation over there?
I have AB 1 and Spell Void 2.
Okay. Weak.
Fire on me.
Let's just let's go Energy Potion and then Arsenal here.
Yeah, I'm definitely in line with that one. That's pretty good. So we've drawn a hand that I think would be locally known as poo poo, but see what we can do with. I'm gonna shackle and play a Ghostly Visit for 4.
Okay. What'd you pick? Is that a red howl?
That is the red howl. You can actually respond to my shackle too. If you
That's fine. You know, that's horrible though. Why are you pitching a red?
Why am I?
Is it because you have more reds in that hand?
No, I just like to keep my blues in my arsenal. Actually.
Oh, we're having a good time. Well, so like, you know, let's say I throw a Kraken's Aether Vein at you, you pitch another red for that, and then I throw another spell at you, you pitch a red for that. You don't have an arsenal, so you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'd probably put. So I think the way you'd want to sequence that is you would put a spell at me, right? Because you're not guaranteeing the Aether Vein, and then I might pitch for that, and then there's about a 0% chance that I would give up my arsenal to block an Aether Vein. But I could also have a blue.
You don't though. We know that. We know you don't have that blue.
I mean, you're right. I think you can read me about as easy as Sasha read Zach and
man, talk about just fumbling the ball at the end zone, huh?
He just wanted to play Whisper the Oracle this.
He just couldn't help it. He's like, if I play it, then I can guarantee I draw blue. You aren't drawing, man. You aren't drawing. How about a spell? You want a spell? Let's do that. Also, this Tunic's from last turn. I'm going to do that because we're friends and I have bad habits. I know that's not the Arsenal Passaway, but that's why you guys are the villains.
Not for long if you keep sneaking toonies on me. All right, so we have an Emeritus here for 4.
Hey, we need to clarify this. You and Hayden have got some insane pronunciations of stuff. So it has to be emeritus, right? Like it's the whole Latin thing. You're a Latin guy, you know Latin. Emeritus, you know, like you graduate with honors and that kind of stuff. Emeritus.
Yeah, emeritus.
And Scalita? Who?
Okay, that is a Hayden Dale. That's not me. Scalita.
Does he pronounce skeleton skeleton?
Yeah, I don't know, but he's Australian. They have some of the weirdest vernacular of anybody in the world.
That's right, and their toilets flush backwards. You're taking 3. Is that a red minnowism?
Yep. I'm just holding my blue. Don't worry.
Oh man, look at this. You got a weird situation developing here. Okay, so this was resolved, and there's still a 4 on the stack. Got it. I'm going to pitch some heat here. This is
alrighty.
This is going to be interesting. I'm going to pitch 2 reds, a wildfire, and a fire breathing to activate the Aether Vein.
All right. And you have 1 card in hand.
1 card.
Yep, I'll take it.
Okay. And draw. Oof. Interesting. Boy, that's weird. And then I'm going to pass on defense.
Cool. Take 4.
Yeah.
Move to end.
Yeah.
Cool. Arsenal.
All right. All right, over to me, huh?
Indeed.
I'm going to tick up my tunic, of course. And let's pitch this blue scour for a Kraken's Aether Vein for 1. Watch out.
Yep.
Coming back at me. Okay. All right. And we continue down the path. Let's see, we could do 4 arcane. That's not exactly exciting. You've got 1 little doodad there, 1 little soul shackle. Not exactly exciting either. So we need to play for the big moment. How about this? How about I'm going to crack this pot. I'm going to wildfire for 4. On my turn, no less.
On your turn, I'll take 4.
Okay. And then I'm going to arsenal.
Sounds
go to the end phase.
I will trigger shackle. I think you are able to respond if you want.
No, you're good.
All right, gas. Hit them off, skies. Who needs those cards anyway?
You like those in the banish zone, don't you?
All right, what else would I do? Play it? Okay. Sure. Banish +1.
Aetherize. Just kidding.
Aetherized. Yeah.
You got it.
Okay, cool. We're gonna banish this in Hallowed Rites and draw 2. 2 floating.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Do I need? Nope. So I'll play a Plunder Run. Red.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Thunderdome. I'm gonna play a Belittle. And I'm gonna reveal a Shrill of Skullhorn. And I'll go fetch.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I guess. Yeah, I'll grab Red Minnowism.
Okay. You're gonna make a big.
So-
You're doing the big old attack.
Yeah, to be fair, I do think that there is something fundamentally broken about the game design of Belittle and Minnowism, and I think that Flesh and Blood as we know it will soon be dominated by almost every deck playing this card. Obviously, Kano can't do it, but unless you have a very synergistic deck, I think that there's something unfair about especially if you build it's like a free roll to go get a leg tap that costs 0. It's crazy.
Chat saying Shrill costs 2, and they also say that they.
It costs 1.
Yeah. Show me that.
Do I just have to? It says with 3 base. What do you mean?
Is that right? Oh yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fine.
I think they're confusing with Flock of the Featherwalkers.
Yeah, classic.
Okay, good. 3 or less base. So blue Shrill is 2 base. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's so good about Little Minnows and the fact you can go get a blue?
Well, no, the fact that you can go get a card, period, and the card doesn't suck, right? So I get to pay 1 resource. Let's say I've built my deck for Blue Minnowism too. Like most of my things will be under 3, especially these cards like Shrill, Tome of Rathiel, etc. They have low base powers, but they get buffed. So it's not like I'm running a bunch of low power attacks.
Right.
And then it's like I pay 1 resource, I get the card that's 3 damage, but I also get a 0 for 4 damage for free. Or I can get the blue, so it's actually like it's like there's a toolbox aspect to it as well. I mean, that's ridiculous. This is for 7, by the way.
You can just not do it.
It's so powerful.
You didn't have an arsenal or anything? What did that kind of plunder run from arsenal there?
Oh yeah, of course, Plunder Run from Arsenal.
You still got 3 cards in hand? What have you done this turn? I feel like you played 20 cards.
Just Art of War, drew 2. I'm about to. I mean, I'll just tell you, I'm about to play Tome of the Arknight and hit 2. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Never missed.
Okay, so you got what, 7 in a card draw?
You're right. I might draw another card off Plunder Run. This seems unfair.
Okay. Well, you know what? I got news for you,
take
buddy.
it.
I got news for you. No, I won't. Are you crazy? I mean, you're gonna get that draw, but I'd at least like to increase the tension around it a little bit.
Increase the tension. Good card.
But if I don't block it, my cap turns on. I feel good about that. All right, let's go ahead and block it with that blue Emeritus, my favorite card. Go to reactions. You got any reactions for me?
Nah, but you better not have any for me.
I do. I have a red absorb. I'm gonna pitch a blue to play it.
Okay, cool. 1 floating. Full block.
2 floating, yeah.
I don't know where this dice came from. I'll just do like this for clarity.
Appreciate that.
Anytime.
What's up, Robin?
So I have to see how greedy you want to get with Tome of the Arknight.
I want to get. How greedy you want to get?
I'm saying me. Yeah, me, of course. Not you. Yep, we'll play Tome of the Arknight.
All right, does that cost you 1? Hold on a second. I might respond to that. You got 2 cards in hand. This is an Aether Vein if I've ever seen one. You're never going to pitch for this.
Maybe.
Never. You're never going to pitch for this. I know you've got the blue in hand. You might pitch for it. But then what if you brick the tome in your turn? Like,
Steven, I've never bricked a tome. Ever.
Would you say on the scale of wanting to be Kraken's Aether Vein right now, scale of 1 to 10, is it a 1 or a 10?
No, in all seriousness, you probably should Kraken's Aether Vein me here.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to pitch.
All right, well, now that we'll take every card out of your hand, I'm going to pitch for it. No, I'm kidding. I'll take one. This is actually really... So that's
maybe
it's like, does the card
it.
in my hand... Does the card in my hand represent more than 3 damage? If it didn't, then it would make more sense for me to pitch and block. You know, there's definitely... So, it's funny. If I whiff on this, it's likely I'm actually popping Aether Ironweave. So I potentially should have done that before to not give you the outs. Anyway, I will take 1, go to 10. Make it interesting. Good luck.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. Tome resolves.
Yeah. Oof.
Well, that doesn't count. So it's going to be Art of War on top and then Tome of Rathiel below it. At least we know what I'm drawing, which
That's
is
right.
pretty funny. Tome of Rathiel. So we could draw that Art of War. It doesn't do anything.
You ever played Chain before?
First time, actually. All right. I'm just gonna come in for 5.
Okay. 5 sweet damage with that plunder run going on, huh?
Yep, there's potential to draw here.
Okay.
I do have 2 floating.
You got 2 floating. You've got the 1 for whatever in hand, I think is what you got. Did you get that blue? Yeah. Is that the red? Yeah.
Red one.
You draw Art of War.
Art of War.
And then you arsenal one of those guys. You swing that sword.
Sir.
You've got... Okay. Let's see. 5. I think now is the right. I think now is the right answer. Let's go. I'm doing all this stuff on your turn. Let's see. You draw Art of War. You have the belittle. You've got Money in the Bank. You've got 1 AB. You're gonna swing 2/2. It's crazy. Rosetta Thorn's nuts, man. How did that get out the door?
You know, I feel like I'm playing a lot of nuts cards here, like Belittle's nuts, Art of War's nuts, Rosetta. Like,
how can you lose?
Maybe that's the key. You just find the cards that slip through just game design and you just stuff them all in a deck.
It's always been the key, hasn't it? Okay, I right now am going to, let's see, you're not going to do that. I'll take 5 and turn that hat on.
Sure, I'll draw. And I will swing for 4.
Okay. 1 floating there. Yeah, so I kind of want to save life here. You're at 10. I really have to play for a big oops absorb moment. Let's go ahead and block with the hat and take 2 arcane.
Sure. I will rush the one past to you.
I've got a response.
Sure.
It's going to be a
No arsenal.
scour for 2. So that's going to be...
Yeah, it just destroys.
And it's also going to be 4 arcane because the absorb.
4 arcane because the absorb. I'll block 1 of it, take 3. Okay. So this is particularly nice, by the way. Because the next card is Tome of Wrathiel.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. Oh my god, that's so funny because I was having a discussion with Sasha about Tome of Wrathiel versus Shrill Skullhorn because one's one cost obviously. He's like, there is some niche scenario where you get scoured and it's not as good. I was like, that doesn't count.
Literally, here we are. All right, over to my turn. Take up the tunic. I guess I'm just gonna Arsenal here. Yeah, Arsenal and pass it back. Yeah.
Sounds good.
I mean, like, that's the thing about Scour, though. It's fine, but also it doesn't end the game.
Yeah. You're very much still in the game.
You still got a 5-card Bugatti.
Yeah, we do have a Bugatti. It's just, how are we gonna do this? Man, I think the only reason that I'm having a tough time is because I want to play my Tome of the Arknight, but I should definitely not do that. I'm gonna say banish +1. Any response?
Oh, come on. Banish +1. No response. No.
I'm gonna banish the flock. Draw 2. That's a good one. It's fine. Alright. I'll play Minnowism and Shackle. I'll play Shadow Verser here for 6.
2 in hand.
2 in hand.
2 floating.
Correct.
Okay, coming at me for 6. 2 in hand, 2 floating. We've seen the Art of War. We've seen the Trimmer. Trimmer coming. It's happening. Okay. Well, it's just kind of one of those things. What's Trimmer? Is it +2 if you banish something or something?
Yep. If a card's been put into your banish zone this turn, Tome of Wrathiel gets +2. The 3 is, the yellow is base 3, and I've banished this card.
So it's a 5?
Yep, 1 for 5.
I do that math right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, 3, take 3, and then... Man, you still come up with that split damage. Why did they build this hero?
You mean this class?
Yeah. 4, 3, exactly. Okay, let's go... I'm going to block 3, and I'm going to take 3, and I'm not happy about it.
Cool. Yep, and then we'll play 1 counter there. Okay. Shadow Puppetry plus Tremor for 6 here.
Okay.
1 floating.
Okay, let's see. Is there any shenanigans I can get up to here? I do have shenanigans, and that was kind of the idea. But you've got 1, you've got nothing in hand. This screams Aethervein. Unless you spell void it, which you might.
Absolutely would.
Yeah.
But do you have enough cards to wildfire kill me if I do that? Probably not.
Not quite. Okay, so I do have an out where I effectively do 7, but you have 7, and you've got Spell Void 2, and you've got the 1 floating. So I've got to find a way to live, and you're coming at me with 5 there, so I can block 4.
Keep in mind this.
Is that that's the spell
create
void? Oh, that's
No,
the
no,
2 rune
I-
chance. Yeah.
2 rune chance.
Yeah.
So you might want to play to your out where you try to kill me.
But I can't. You just pop the spell void and it's done. But it's spell void your quill hand too, so that prevents 2, I guess.
Spell void is the ebb and fold. The quill hand is just. The quill hand is my arcane barrier.
Okay. It's arcane barrier. That's right. Okay. All right. Okay. So is there any way to live? You bring up a great question. So we block here. We take 1. You come in 3, 2. We block there and block there, and then we don't really. I mean, it doesn't get better for us in the same situation. But we do need to live. So I'll show you what can happen, though. How about that?
Sure.
On defense, I'll pass, and then I'll tunic and react with absorb for 4.
Sure.
And then I will pass. Take 1.
So you want to take 2?
That's
for 6.
Oh, 6, yeah.
For 5, 6. So sorry, it's for 7. I apologize.
Oh my gosh.
I got lost in the sauce as we were talking. We have +1 here. Yeah, let's go here.
Yeah, I can't go down to 1. 4.
Yeah.
6. So yeah, so let's throw the toonie in there too. I can go down to 2. It's fine.
So you're looking to take 2 here.
In fact, let's throw the cap in too. Let's take 1.
It's taking 1.
Yeah.
All right. Shadow puppetry trigger.
Yeah.
Nope. Top. How many cards do you have?
2.
You have 2 cards, and you have the boots are AB1 or AB2.
Boots are AB2.
AB2. Yeah, I'm fine doing that. Sorry, this is complicated because I can obviously I can strip your whole hand, but it's a question of like, am I stripping I'm stripping your whole hand anyway, right? So is that lethal? So you have AB2, you take 2, you can AB2 and you can block, so you can go to 1. That's about it. Yeah, I'm just going to Rosetta for 2 and 2.
Okay. Okay, I maybe have some play into this then. I've got options. So 2 and 2, I'll block 2, take 2, go to 1, and you've got nothing, yeah. So I'm gonna block 2 here. Take 2.
Sure.
That's where
All right.
yeah. Because this Voltic you could technically send for 7 right now. You pop your spell void, you go to 2, I come back with no cards, and then you kill me. Because then I don't have instant speed threats.
It depends if it's in your arsenal, right?
Yes, it sure does. Oh, goodness. Over to me?
Yep, over to you.
All right, so I'm just going to pitch this blue for red timekeepers for 5.
Red timekeepers for 5. Yep, I'll block for 1, take 4.
Okay.
Shackle trigger. Riftbind. All right, for me, I'm going to pitch the Minnowism. I'll play a Belittle, and I'll reveal Shadow Ursa.
Okay.
2 floating. And your priority if you want to let me search.
Okay, how many cards? No cards currently?
Nope, none. I mean, technically, actually, sorry, this is in my hand. It's a reveal.
Yeah, Ursa's in hand.
Yep.
Yeah. So, let's see here. I'm gonna play Blizzard. It's gonna create a Frostbite as well.
Cool, let me think.
It may be that the search resolves first, Brendan. Is it an additional cost? Is it reveal a card and search for a card?
If you do search your deck for a card in Minnowism, reveal it, put in. Okay, does it happen?
I don't know. You and I are not the best people to ask on this.
Yeah, so when I played with Sasha, he was saying it didn't, but he could be wrong. Because we tested a bit of Kano into Belittle Minnowism chain, but we could have been playing it wrong. Maybe you have to respond. Yeah, you might have to respond to Belittle itself. So that's probably it. But let's go ahead and search. I'm going to grab the
grab
red
it
anyway. Yeah. And I'm not going to pay for this Blizzard.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
Take a Frostbite and lose go again. Are you going to creepers? You got creepers? I can't see any. Yeah, you got creepers. Yeah.
Yeah, I got them.
But hey, you got a Frostbite. This can be annoying, right? It's coming in for
okay.
Coming in for 3.
Yep. Yeah, so you have to respond to the belittle on play.
Before you do, isn't the reveal an additional cost though? You pay all the costs before it goes to the stack, yeah? See, yeah. I said stack. I'm a wizard player. I'm gonna block that for 3.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna activate creepers, and I'll creep in the Minnowism. No resources will be floating. Pay for the Frostbite. We're gonna shackle and play the Riftbind for 7.
Okay.
Let's go again.
I'm gonna Blizzard that and then die.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
There's some tools. I mean, honestly, every time I play this kind of more hybrid build, I really just want more arcane in it.
It feels like you're playing a much more fair game than me.
Yeah.
The scour was nice, right? Like you, definitely slowed me down the scour. I also drew pretty good cards. Like I had Plunder on Arsenal immediately, and then but the Ebb and Fold just seems like it's just like no shenanigans.
Yeah.
Like it seems like you're never allowed to get away with anything.
Yeah, for sure. It just saying you want Blue Reverb on Arsenal. It depends on the build. If it's the arcane variant, yeah, you can like try to live in the Wildfire Reverb zap from hand or whatever. But even into a deck that's running any amount of arcane barrier, like that's a fine moment, but it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. And like the cards really have to align for that to be super valuable. It's a good little combo. It works. But man, good luck against Oldhim. All right, hey, I'm gonna put a little Cassie, get Kasai sleeved up here. I've got a few cards to throw in, and we can look at some different looks. We'll throw her into chain, and then maybe Oldhim, or whatever you want to do. I'm here as long as you want to be here.
I'm chilling. Yeah, if you like, you said you're sleeving up, or
I've got it here. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, cool. It's ready to go. Yeah, because if you want, I can also open up the chat and answer questions. Just
yeah, feel free to open up the stream if you want to monitor the chat and people can ask you whatever. I feel like the ultimate Icelander deck is just all blues. It's like who needs the reds? And this one was it was basically the same as Krakow. Zinker, I think is his name. But, you know, it made a few tweaks just because it's not as relevant with Vis not in the meta. But that's what I mean. It's pretty kind of unsolved. I think there's some better builds out there.
Someone said I like how Brennan plays a whole PT with Stormtrotters and says, "Is that AB2?" Yeah, didn't play that many mirrors, surprisingly. All like in my mind, it's just like I know that one of them is AB1 and one of them is AB2. Which ones they are? An Enigma.
Yeah, I agree, Justin. We gotta wait for it. That snapback and stir really hurt her arcane stuff. Hey, I'm going to be proxying some stuff. This Dorinthia is actually Minerva, the Mentor.
Oh.
And then
you'll have to remind me what Minerva does as well.
Yeah, you and me both. And then I don't have any of the actual Kasai cards.
Okay.
But I've got, you know, Dory's kind of close enough. And then it's just the Sabers, Centauri Sabers. Swing for 2, block with an attack, get +1. You're a Blitz champion, you know that by now, yeah?
Yeah, actually, I played against a bit of Kasai, but I was playing Viscerai, and
that wasn't
Kasai's
close.
Pretty bad in the Viscerai, eh? Yeah, just kind of just try his combos out real quick.
Man, that's my life. Just playing against Zach on Vis and just being like, nothing that's even not like screaming down the highway at 1,000 miles per hour can ever keep up with this.
Kasai's a really funny hero. Somehow it was given the mantle of being like a playable, decent deck in the last Blitz format, but I would question that statement and that belief. It really plays a fair game compared to these other decks.
It does.
As I say before, I'm about to get dumpstered by Steven on stream, of course. But yeah, I mean, Kasai into the Viscerai meta specifically, it's like, I mean, Viscerai, I mean, might kill you on turn 0.
Yeah.
Usually kills you on turn 1, and then almost always kills you on turn 2. It's like, what are you doing as Kasai? Or just like, a lot of those decks were red.
Yeah.
I think that Kasai will be similar in this format, where it's just it's a really fair deck. I think that it's borderline unfair when you start on the play and maybe you put the Mentor in the arsenal, but
yeah,
even that's beatable, which is crazy.
Yeah, but that's why we're here. You're serving a great purpose. Just, you know, get rid of these crazy ideas about anything that isn't, you know, one of the top 3-4-ish decks and move on.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I don't even think that the meta is like, I mean, it's relatively solved, right? Like, there's good decks. You can go do some research and find some good decks, and you'll probably perform decent. But I think there's a lot of room for development, and a lot of room for certain heroes to get busted. Are you ready, by the way? We can roll, so I'll just talk.
Yeah, totally.
So we'll do evens you first. All right, I'll go first. Yeah, I know, like, one thing that we were initially interested in was, like, are there any combo decks, right? Because it's a small deck size, low amount of life total, et cetera, et cetera. And we kind of came off that because, like, the combos are going to be convoluted because we couldn't immediately think of any that are class based, so they probably would utilize a card that you couldn't fetch, right? So the main reason that the Kano deck was so consistent is because you had a lot of ways to get Wildfire. Obviously, lessons. You can draw it, you can hold it can sit in Arsenal forever. You turbo through your deck with all the tomes, et cetera, et cetera. But in Blitz, you know, if you put yourself, at least mentally, on a 2-turn clock for the game, which is what Rhinar will do to you. I'm gonna time stop, push, and pass. And it's like, what kind of combo am I gonna do? What combo is consistent enough on turn 1 and turn 2? It might exist, but it's gonna be hard to find.
Agreed. All right, so that's great. Look at that time snap. And,
yeah.
Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool.
I'm gonna pass. Sorry, I was waiting. I was waiting for you to respond, but different hero.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, we've got a pretty terrible opening here, but I've seen worse. Let's go blue hit and run. Just sink some negative value into the turn.
Yep.
And I'm gonna pitch this shunt here. Swing at you for 2.
Do you mind if I change my armor real quick?
Yeah, I don't care. What's up, Matt? I don't have the saber. Zach's in Orlando or wherever he went off to, and he didn't leave me with the sabers.
Alrighty, so this is coming in for 2, eh? With go again.
Yeah, I know.
Scary stuff.
I know. Watch out. Should I? Is there? Tell me honestly, as a chain player, is there anyone but Oldhim that can conceivably fatigue this deck by just blocking?
I don't know. I haven't done a lot of fatigue myself, but Oldhim can fatigue for the same reason that Drone of Brutality kind of fatigued. So Drone of Brutality would take 2 damage off your opponent's cards and then recycle itself back in the deck. Obviously, it coupled as a threat at the same time, which is quite good. But Oldhim has an ability printed on his hero, so he gets a lot of value. And he's got an amazing weapon. So can anybody else do it? It's possible, but I doubt it. I really do. I think that you guys would probably be fatiguing each other. So it'd have to be some sort of deck that utilized recursion, whether it was through like remembrances or just getting cards back in the deck. So they have just fundamentally more cards than you and a more grindier weapon, something that does 4.
Right on. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just thinking about this 2.
2 and a copper, so don't forget.
Oh, and a copper? Okay, that changes everything.
Yeah, everything's copper.
So Kasai is like, if anything hits, you make a copper? Is that
yeah, every weapon attack that hits at the end of the turn, you get a copper.
That might be a lot of coppers. Yeah, so my turn is bad, but I have a Tome of the Arknight, and that's always in the.
It's not gonna hit though.
I'm telling you, Steven, I literally never missed one of these ever. And does the next sword come in for 3 or just 2 again?
Just 2. It's not the Axis, yeah, just 2.
Sure, I'll take 2.
Okay. This is my running copper counter. It's not here yet, but it'll be here. Yeah, and you got to swing twice. If you swing twice, which I will be doing the whole time, I reckon. Well, why not? Let's go Yellow Warrior's Valor. We'll close the chain if it matters to you, and then swing for 4.
For 4. Well, God, how bad is my turn if I... It's not that bad. All right.
That doesn't even cost me anything.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you anything. Sting of Sorcery plus Arcanite Skullcap for 4.
You got it.
All right, cool. Trigger Soul Shackle. I'll hit a nice Vexing Malice. All right. Well, unfortunately, we don't get to play the Tome. I think it would just be too greedy here. We'll play a Out from Beyond, Shackle, and play a Shadow of Ursa. It's just going to be for 5, 1 floating.
5, 1 floating, 1 in arsenal. How many in hand? None?
1 in hand, sorry.
That's about to be in the arsenal, and you're going to swing the sword, right? Got it. Understood. Heard. Okay, so this is the moment where you have to decide, right? Are you doing the fatigue thing, or are you doing the non-fatigue thing? And should I have Arcane Barrier against you? Is that a thing? The hood, maybe?
So what are you blocking? If you're gonna give me an entire card to block 1 damage off Reservoir Thorn every turn?
No way. But you don't want to just necessarily have that 2 arcane off of that one card that I can't stand.
Oh, the Vexing Malice?
Yeah.
I mean, that... Well, I banished one, and also... Yeah, I just don't think it's that good. Like, I mean, Vexing Malice, it does 2 arcane, but I could also swing my freaking sword now. Like, this card used to be good to close out games, but now you just got the Rosetta Thorn.
Yeah.
Maybe the Rosetta Thorn will grind you out. Like, if you're going to try to fatigue me, if you don't have AB, I'm definitely going to grind you out with Rosetta Thorn. But I'm also just going to deck stack anyway.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, so next step is what's our turn look like? So our turn looks like this, that. Okay, is this coming in for 5, you said?
Yep, just 5.
Okay, let's block. 4 here. There's no on hits there, is there? No.
Nope. So you take 1, and then I'll swing for 4.
Yeah. And we'll play the tempo game, and then we'll play a fatiguey style and see which one goes better.
Sure.
I'll take that 4.
All right, Arsenal for me, and pass over to you.
Turn that hat on.
I actually wonder if Carrying Husk is correct against Kasai. Or if I should be playing Aether Ironweave.
Alright, let's swing. Pitch this blood on my hands that I don't need yet.
Blood on our hands. Okay. Makes you feel like you have one in Arsenal.
Yeah, it's probably not the best place for it, too. I think you can get greedy holding on to those.
So my turn definitely requires me to hit some blood debt. I'll take 2.
Okay, I got a reaction, of course.
Someone said, I think Warrior could, just on the fact that it has so much armor. I think so too. Like, I'm not going to run Eclipse, so there's no Ursa to deal with. It's possible.
Let's go Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Second attack +1?
+2, it's a yellow, yeah.
It's 2.
Yeah, and then we'll swing for 4.
And if this hits, you'll get 2 more copper for this. You'll get 2 copper for this turn.
Yeah, I'm already getting 1, so I'll get a second one.
Well, my hand sucks, but if I hit Blood Debt, I'm good. Right? Am I good? I'm just doing fine. Alright, I'll take 4.
You were not supposed to do that. You were supposed to get really, it was supposed to be different.
Yeah, block with the card so you can clear that reaction you have.
Alright, you got it. You did it.
Cool.
Could have pitched that card for Brave Forge Bracers, but I didn't.
Yeah, Soul Chakra Trigger. Ooh. Alright. Love to see some gasoline off the top.
What'd you get?
I got a Riftbind and a Howl from me.
Oh, yeah, that's total gas.
Yeah, it's more a question of resources. We're chilling there too. Alright, I'm gonna play Minnowism. Minnowism? Double Minnowism. I'm gonna play Howl from Beyond. I'm gonna Shackle. I'm gonna play Riftbind. So this is gonna be 12, 13, 14, 15 damage.
How many cards you got in your hand?
I got 2 cards in my hand.
Yeah, let's go again, isn't it?
Yep.
It's pretty cool, man.
I love that you swing your 2 swords for 6 and it's like, oh, I'll do 15.
Could have been for 7, don't forget.
Flesh and Blood is hilarious. Husk gone. Was I at 12? Yeah, Husk banished at the beginning of the turn. You're right.
Oh, cool. I got that working for me, at least.
Well, in the context of that, I definitely should blocked. I was a bit focused on Aether Ironweave. I was thinking about it.
Dang.
Which I do think that Aether Ironweave is going to be more correct in this matchup.
Okay.
So you got the Husk.
Yeah, I got the Husk. Eat that.
It's a big deal.
But like I could die. This is like lethal.
This is actually lethal.
What are you doing? Why are you doing this? 11, 15. Yeah.
Oh.
I think things are happening here. I think we're going to get weird. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Let's go 11 there.
All right. 12, 15. So you're going to take 4.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we'll reset it for 2 and 2.
Okay. Let's go Dynamo, take 3.
All right, you're at 8. I will take 1 blood dead. I'm down to 11. And Arsenal on my turn. Just need the ooh. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, let's throw a little Hail Mary here. We'll go Blood on our hands.
Sure.
Destroy 3 copper here. We're going to choose swing twice, and how about +1 of this guy? What do you think about that? Does that make you feel weird?
Okay.
I know. Go again on this guy is what I mean.
2 sweet.
Swing twice, go again.
Yep. It's only 1 instance. So it just gives go again to the what's the go again clause? I don't know what the card says.
Target one-handed weapon as go again while attacking this turn. I'll put on this guy.
While attacking this turn. Got it.
So 2 swings,
Cool.
2 swings, go again on both of these guys.
All right, so we have 6 + 4, which is 10, which will put me to 1. I have armor, and you have armor as well, so we're working a lot. Sounds good to me. Pop your stuff.
Crack the old courage bucket.
I need my cards.
And then the question becomes, we'll do, yeah, so this is the one with go again. 3 with go again. Coming at you to start.
All right, down to 8.
He takes it. Not 3, I'm sorry, 2 with go again. You get you some life back.
Okay, I thought that was the one that had the...
It's got the go again. It's the go again one. All right, 2 with go again.
All right.
Yeah, what do you think about that? How about, I got some more coming for you, buddy. How about
Okay.
2 over here?
And this one has go again as well, or no?
It does not currently.
It's not currently. How would you give it? Valentine. What? Is Valentine? No, Valentine was. I'll actually block with Skull Cap. Take 1.
Okay, I'm gonna just glint it.
Oh, glint. You had a card in hand. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll swing again.
For 2?
Yeah.
All right, I'll grasp.
Okay.
I was like, oh, look, you're touching your armor. I was like, how is he doing this? Sweet. So I'll flip 3.
Miss.
I missed all 3.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so I guess we're somewhat in danger.
I'm in danger.
Yeah. I'm going to go +1, banish. We'll banish the Rift Bind. So we'll draw 2 floating. Those are good cards.
Built to hit, baby.
Built a hit, baby. He knows the mantra. +1, so this is correct to do this. Just making sure I got my resources. I'll pop time snap. 2 action points. I'll play Shadow Puppetry. And then I'll play Block of the Featherwalkers. And I'll reveal a Tome of Rathiel. So this will be for 7. And I will maintain my 2 action points.
Seven's good. Seven's good. You haven't shackled yet, yeah?
I'm not shackled yet, no.
Okay. And that puppetry actually does matter quite a bit to us. Okay. I'm at 8, you're at 6. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Are you at 9? You're at 6?
I'm at 6, you're at 8, yeah.
Yeah. So we really don't want this puppetry to hit. That makes our problems worse. There's a lot of problems. So it's kind of interesting, right? If puppetry, maybe you do let it hit to get the skull cap on, because you just plan on you missing that banish, and then you walk away with one more block.
Okay. Yeah, so I have boots, right? So this could be a non-attack action. I only have 1 resource, but I have the yellow. So if we find another attack, it could be good for me because it will let me squeak a blade into this. Because I found another attack. No, we're already squeaking a blade anyway because we have 2 action points. So,
like, yeah, is there anything you could banish that would fundamentally like make this great?
That would make this great. So we play the bounding, we shackle there. It depends what color this card is or what I'm playing, right? So if I banish a bounding, go down to 1, shackle this one, blade. Well, at some time I would boots in the non-attack, and then maybe I could squeak in the last. But I don't think the resources or likelihood of that is very high.
Well, we can either waste 1 block or give you the banish, and I probably am just going to waste the block at this point. So let's waste it. I love doing that with Skull Cap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so let's go here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'll shackle.
Yeah.
All my chain's broken. I'm gonna play a Riftbind for 5. No resources.
5, 4.
Still 2 action points.
Yeah. Using the grasp on this one, yeah. Okay. Man, that's good. Okay, so 4. You bring it at 5. Turn the hat on. 1 there. Take 4. Yeah. Tremor's coming in. What color tremor is that?
Sorry, it's not 2. Sorry, it's not 2 action points. It's just the 1, but sorry, we're not shackling this one. This one just has go again from the Quicken token. That's what I was confused about.
Oh, okay. Right on. So these things are not on the chain.
They're on the same chain.
Yeah.
I'll break after this one.
Yeah. Okay, 5. Come on, man.
Yep. 5 with the +1.
That's a good number. Then I go to 3, and then we get awfully close to a Rosetta situation. You could pitch for it potentially. Let's go, because like the other thing here, like a lot of times you get in this situation is like you can maybe live, but you'll never win. So it's also about like living and potentially having the shot to win. So let me I'm going to take 5 here.
Okay. I will shackle. And blade.
Okay. With go again there. No resources floating?
Just the one.
Just the one. Okay. So there's no way. Let's block 2 here. Cap and Brave Forge.
Yep.
And do you have any funny surprise arcane banish from your avert existence kind of stuff over there?
Nope.
Nothing funny. You got a Vexing Malice in hand?
You'll see.
Okay, I will take 2 and block 2.
Okay. So you're at 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play this for 5.
Right on. Okay. Let's do 5 is the right number. Let's go 6, but it doesn't much matter. I can pitch, swing, and that doesn't really do anything for me, does it? Right, block 6.
Sure. I'll end my turn. I'll take 1 damage. I'm at 5.
That's right. So let's see. You got 4 shocks. You got no arsenal.
No arsenal, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take a risk then. I'm gonna arsenal and pass back.
Sure. I'll banish 4 cards. Wow. That's actually surprising to miss.
That's what I'm talking about. Give myself a shot.
Yeah, so now I'm in trouble. I think I can still take... I can still take every card from your hand, though.
I hope that's not true. I want to play my cards. That's why I put them in the deck.
I'll make a root chant with Grasp.
Uh-huh. That's a good way to do it.
I'll play the Plunder Run. I'll shackle the 5. And I'll play the Unhallowed Rites for 4. No resources.
Okay, so pitch for Skull Cap, and then 4.
Yep.
So we'll block the 6 there.
Sure. And then we will 2 and 2.
You got it.
Good game.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels about right. Like, that's how I think when any of the warrior decks try to like actually race chain, it usually ends up about there for me. Which is you're just not as good.
The chain is definitely the premier, I think. I mean, Briar is also very, very good.
Yeah.
I know how much you love Briar, so that.
Of course, I play against these Ruin Blades all the time. I haven't played whoever this is. Who is this I'm playing? Kasai?
Yeah.
I haven't played Kasai much at all. So this is not necessarily a good indicator there, but I think it's about the indicator because you look at Kasai and it's like all of your cards add 3 value to the turn. Like sometimes 4, but mainly 3. So you just kind of are in this situation where it's like Chain can have a turn of 16 plus, or Briar can have a turn of 16 plus, and you're like, I think I can do 12 or 14 if I really get the right card.
I feel like Kasai is, at least the versions that are around, are blood on her hands decks.
Yeah.
But you're telling me you like, in order for your deck to function, or like at least to function on the same level as the other decks, you have to draw one of the 2 of in your deck, and you have to like draw it. I guess you can tutor it with Minerva, but yeah, I just think the game's a little fast for that, you know?
Mm-hmm. You may try to fatigue you. You want to see if that works? Or
yeah,
do you want to, would you rather scratch your eyes out instead?
To me, it doesn't matter. I'm down to play against whatever you want to practice.
Okay. I mean,
all the decks.
let's just see, make sure Chain can get over the hump here.
Yeah. My deck has a bit less blood debt too, so it should be interesting to see if it can win. It's actually kind of a mean deck with the tome, But I want to see if I can just hit that. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. I'll be back.
Yeah,
in, like,
yeah, for sure. I'll zoom out here. What's going on, everybody? Woo! Getting out of those headphones is crazy. Anything you guys want to see? We've got a few more Kasai. I suppose we could do Kasai into Oldhim. It's just ugh. That's I feel like that's a technical matchup that you have to get a lot of reps on Kasai to really be good at. You have to stack probably your blood on your hands really well. You probably have to rely on Minerva quite a bit in that matchup. Raven's Hand Azalea. I'm still not there. I'm not over it. I'm not ready to go back into that dark place. I'm trying to play like maybe decks. You know what I mean? Like maybe. Like it's even. These are reasonable decks. Kasai and Icelander. These are more reasonable decks than I'm used to. We're back.
We're back.
Okay, let's see. You want to go first, second? You got a preference?
Let's do you on the play. I'll be on the draw.
Okay.
That's worse for me.
And usually, if I'm trying to fatigue you, I do want to send threat on turn 1 in the hopes that you discard cards, right?
Potentially, I could also filter.
Yeah. The grand question.
Let's how's Kasai for you? Is it pretty tough to play because you're new to the cards, or is it pretty natural?
It's super easy. It's Axe's Dory, but you have blood in her hands, which I'm not used to. Like you actually have something that is worth doing. Aside from just like churning value.
Let's do it. Let's do a topic. Let's talk about something while we play.
Okay.
I'll they let you come up with something, or we can take something from the chat.
From the chat? Yeah, chat, you got anything you want to hear Brendan and I discuss? It's a good question.
Yeah, feel free to hit that turn 0 too. Really?
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm trying to fatigue chain and you're me, do you attack on the first turn?
No.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I am too.
Prison Blitz. I have no clue, but I doubt it because the issue with Prism is like Prism is very usually it's a pre-board deck, right? Like in Classic Constructed, you board into auras against the certain decks and heralds against others, so you're probably gonna have to bring one of those strategies if you're coming to Blitz. And I don't know, if you bring heralds, you're definitely running into Oldhims, and if you bring auras, you're running into all the aggro decks. Seems pretty tough. It was okay in a Blitz format. The one with Ira, it was like okay at best, but still wasn't great. Well, I have my Belittle, but I don't have anything to search it with, unfortunately. So I guess this one is just going to be... yeah, that's going to be a Shackle, E-Strike for 7 for me.
Okay, this is where we get to have fun.
Two in hand.
Black 6.
Cool.
Or 7, sorry. It's black 7. 6 and the 1 armor.
Yep. My thoughts on Prism and Chain being living legends by next year? I mean, so James spoke about in the... you're good. In the banquet, he talked about the living legend system not really working, and it's going too fast because it doesn't scale with events. There's no scaling variable in that equation. It's just linear. Chain being living legend should open the meta quite a bit. Prism is actually really important. I think we'd have a lot of Oldhim if it wasn't for Prism.
It's 4 for 2.
Just for 2, okay. I haven't drawn my hand yet. There we go. Ooh, the red boys.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think the reality of like a new hero coming out in all of these sets being really good is a function of still pretty small card pool and small options? So when a new one gets introduced, like it takes a while for things to adapt. Or do you feel like the power curve is constantly being pushed upward by Legend Story?
So I think they try not to push the power curve up, but I do think that the power curve has been pushed up. There's like an inherent power curve that moves as, I mean, it's maybe not the right term, but as certain classes get access to more cards, I'm going to take two. They tend to have a higher possibility of being powerful. But yeah, I don't know. Like what we've seen with the rune blades, and pretty much every new set has just had these like very powerful heroes. This is for 5.
6 of Brave Forage, yeah.
6 with Brave Forge. That's a lot. I'm just gonna block for 2 and take 4.
Okay.
Maybe you want to switch back to tempo.
Yeah, dude, let's go.
Yeah, I do think that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Flesh and Blood is power creeping though, one way or another. Like especially the non-talented heroes.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking in all of this is like, it could well be that, I mean, the powerful heroes we're seeing coming out are all the talented stuff. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, maybe it's just the reality that we've seen a small amount of talented heroes and they're all quite a bit better than the non-talented ones. Just as a nature of the fact that for whatever reason, non-talented heroes were kind of the initial pass. And then it seems like James said in the interview, they're all getting talented versions. So it's like maybe they're just inherently weaker because the card pool is so much smaller.
Maybe. It's hard to say too, because like I think, yeah, when we look at the last supplemental set, Finding Demigod Red, that was such a weird set, right? Like we got all this potion and like this game design that wasn't really like needed, and especially in the context of like the aggro format that we sort of live in, it felt really awkward because those potions just were like borderline unplayable. But now, but we all, at the same time, we got all the prism cards and all the runeblade cards, the stuff that makes it busted. Sorry, I missequenced this. I'm playing Plunder out of Arsenal.
You're fine.
For 6. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not. I'm really just like not 100% sure if we're creeping or we're not. But Everfest was. It's quite the contrast to
Black 6.
Crucible 4, in my opinion. All right, blocking 6. Well, I will shackle. And come in for 3. Yep, non-rotating format. Does anybody in the chat think that Flesh and Blood should be a rotating format?
Block 3.
Unhappily push that Middoism for coming in for 2 and 2.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's a part of me that I just can't do the fatigue thing. I'm so bad.
You lose focus, right? And you're just like, I gotta jam.
It's just like I wanna kill you.
Eventually, it probably has to.
Let's block 1 and then take 3. I've already given up.
Yeah. If the people want to hear something controversial, I actually think that Flesh and Blood should rotate in the next year. As crazy as that sounds.
Man, I don't know. I don't know about rotate. It just doesn't. It seems so doable to not have to do it. All right,
I think it's theoretically doable.
Yeah.
I feel like the writing is kind of on the wall, and I do think it would make the game a lot more interesting, because right now we Steve and I were talking about this before we came on.
Same for
4. Right now, like we sort of get the same meta over and over again, and it's just like a different flavor at the same time. And with that, there's like the premier aggro deck, and then there's like this polar opposite defensive deck, right? The middle just doesn't have any room to exist. Nevertheless, like even let's say that doesn't matter. It's just like we go from the chain meta to the Briar meta, now to Starvo, which is like it's a whole other beast. But eventually back to an aggro meta. I think after, right, like it's going to be chain. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if they rotated, and maybe it was two, like you would have 2 to 3 main sets and a couple of supplementaries. Like you could get a really nice core set and introduce 4 heroes, and expand the design space. Because if you want to talk about like design and where it's getting pushed, like where's design limited right now? How many 0 cost defense reactions could they print? How many more? Probably 0, right? How many 0 for 4s? How many 0 for 4 go agains can they do? Probably none. Not many exist anyway. But anything with go again that costs 0. Same thing goes for just like regular D reactions, life gain, all that stuff. It's pretty heavily limited at this point.
So here's the question on that. At a certain point, like a game that's sticking to its kind of fundamental principles, like a lot of times we think of the game of Construct as scaling outward from sealed and draft. There's inevitably only so many ways you can deal damage, and so feeling like you're playing in the same metagame in a lot of ways can feel like, oh, great, this is still the game that I expected it to be. And it's not that suddenly we're introducing alternate win conditions and, a 6-card combo that breaks the game when you build Exodia or whatever. So you're still swinging back and forth and trying to do more damage than your opponent over the use of your cards, which is still, the heart is still there. So how do you design more outward? And how is rotation going to help what is inevitably just, ways to do 3, 2, and 4 damage?
Yeah, so I think rotation helps because I feel like the game is actually a lot. The game's healthier, or at least this game felt healthiher, or at least more diverse when there was less heroes, right? It's weird because as we got more heroes, the game got less diverse. It was kind of just you're either on the premier aggro deck or you're not. Or you're playing defensive decks. There is some, this is for 5, by the way. There are some exceptions to that, which is like Prism. You say take it?
No. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. there's like Prism. So Prism, I really like. I like Prism. I like what it does because it keeps probably, I think, one of the most unbalanced heroes in the game, Oldhim. Keeps them honest. That being said, I don't think that like Prism and what it does to Guardian players or Guardian classes is actually good game design. I feel like that's bad game design. It's very like a rock, paper, scissors, and the Guardians are rocks and you're the paper. And it's good a lot of people talk about rock, paper, scissors being a good format. I think it's just only good in theory. Because Flesh and Blood, the reason why we enjoy it, I think, is that the games feel like games. And if we move closer and closer to a rock, paper, scissors format, where you're walking up and you're just trying to gem format your way past your auto losses, I don't know if that's fab anymore. And that's not what we fell in love with, right? But I would only be in favor for, like what someone said, like an eternal format plus a standard format that sort of like rotates. Because they do the core set, maybe it's like Chain, Kano, a new mechanologist, and I don't know, Oldhim. Just like, they add 4 heroes, not too many new cards, but they develop a new baseline and they sort of rotate out these like unhealthy interactions that have led to these similar formats.
Atlas Skirmish for +3.
Sure. I think I'm going to have to start doing some blocking.
That's kind of where we feel good. Swing for 5?
Swinging for 5. And does this have go? Is give the weapon go again?
It does not have go again. But if it hits, I have 1 card, and if it hits, I'll get a copper. Why do these spammers exist? It's so bad. YouTube doesn't do nearly as good as Twitch does.
Interesting.
What a surprise.
Yeah, this... So you had 4 copper when you started this turn?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So... Yeah, if that's blood on her hands, I'm dead.
You're not supposed to know that.
If that's blood on her hands. I'm going to block for 5. It will be attempting to take a turn off because I drew all non-attacks.
Acceptable. No. Let's do we need the copper? Does copper matter? Does copper matter? Blood on her hands gets really good for me later. I can probably tank a 15.
Star mode, I think, is just a whole nother beast. Like, broke all of their rules. And
Yeah.
pretty obviously, I think was meant to be a gimmick. But
I made
the team just missed it.
blue out for blood, +1.
Okay.
Gain a copper on the outland.
Sure.
And that's
it. Yeah, so I'm setting up for a big turn, but yeah, we're gonna miss blood depth, so we should be good on the next one, hopefully. I will shackle, and I will swing my blade for 2. Hopefully you don't draw blood on our hands. That's my out.
Surely I won't.
Yeah, but I think rotation, like, actually pretty quickly here could lead to, like, a really, really fun game, because I think Flesh and Blood is, like, fundamentally, like, the best game.
We'll block with courage. Yeah.
You did not. Not the courage block.
And Dynamo is just there because it's going to recharge. I'll block for 3, I guess.
Oh, man. The courage makes you think you have the blood on our hands.
He does have it, in fact.
I'm dead. Dead.
All right, let's do it.
Oh, no.
Again, I'm new to Kasai, so like I'm not sure that I super know all the sequences here, but I'm gonna do +1 to both, attack twice with both, and go again to this one.
And you have 2 cards in hand?
Yeah, 3.
Oh, I'm beyond dead.
So this guy's got go again. So let's start there. What do you think? Swing for 3 with go again.
I'll block with skull cap. Big 2.
Okay. I'll do the same thing there. Swing for 3 again.
Swing for 3. And do these ones get +1? Or they don't for the attack actions?
Yeah, attack action is +1 for the turn.
For the turn.
But that doesn't matter. This one won't swing again, so.
I'll block for 2, take 1.
I'll go out for blood red on that. Pitch here.
Sure. And that's 3.
Yeah. Next one is +1.
Oh god. Maybe does it stay on there too? Or is it just the next swing?
It is. The next attack is +1.
Okay.
So then, how many cards you got?
I got 3 cards.
Okay, let's see if there's any weird sequencing stuff we need to worry about. Let's swing for 4 here.
Yeah, I'll block for 5.
Okay. We got a red blade on our +3 go again on the next.
You got it.
And then we'll swing for 6. Yeah. All right.
Hard fatigue is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this deck is a little bit less blood death, so it's gonna struggle. But I just need time. So it's like the thing is you were fatiguing but also pressuring. So the blood in their hands is good. Maybe Kasai is meant to be a control deck. Where you just have these big pop-off turns and you're also sort of attritioning your opponent out.
Isn't it funny that so much warrior actually kind of devolves into that? It makes sense because all your cards block for 3, but Bolton's the same way. Like you want to like roll out and be like, Bolton. But then it turns out the best build is generally like block the whole game and hope that you can get a big Lumina turn. Like Kasai is kind of the exact same, right?
Mm-hmm. Similar. Yeah, I think that Kasai and Valiant Dynamo, like, I think if you see Valiant Dynamo and you see some even like blood on our hands, right? It makes me think like, let's play control.
Yeah.
Let's generate a lot of copper. Let's get a lot of value off blocking, and then we'll just. I mean, you can not completely OTK your opponent, but you get pretty close. Hop off a few of those. You should be in good working order.
Let me tell you this. Let me ask you this as I've listened to a few of your podcasts. They vary in quality from, I'd say, a 5 to an 8. Sometimes you reach a 9. I will tell you. Sometimes you do reach a 9, and those are really good episodes. And I appreciate that you're doing that for the space. Whenever you say, I think I should play control, what goes through your head as a top tier player as to what that actually means in terms of card choices? Does that mean you're putting sigils in? Does that mean you're putting, what else are you adding? Unmovables? What's your game there?
To play control. So yeah, a lot of people like to say that control, like the word control is a misnomer in Flesh and Blood, which I guess it is in the context of like Magic and even other games. Control is effectively attrition. And I think that control usually wins the game through a specific win condition or game plan. I mean, that can be as broad as I'm going to run my opponent out of cards, but ultimately it can just be it could be a combo, right? Like last ditch effort. It can be something like Winter's Wail is another flavor of fatigue, but basically you're able to swing for 4 every time. It doesn't cost you a card. It's adding this frostbite, and you're just going to kind of bleed the opponent down. But attrition too, I don't think people talk enough about it because this was like a big concept back in Welcome to Wraith when the card pool was really small. Is that even mid-range decks would sometimes try to do this? Is that you would just run your opponent out of red cards because there wasn't that many effective red cards to be playing in the deck, and like all builds were mid-range. Like they were a mix of blue and like yellow and like red. They weren't these like hyper-focused like Cheerio aggro decks, but the same it still applies today, right? You're like, okay, how do I lose this game, right? I just need to run my opponent out of his Art of War turns, right? Or I just need to not get not die to Oakenold, because this would happen even in a recent format. If you played like OTK Viscera into Starvo, you might just hold your unmovable and Prism as well for a long time, right? Even as you're getting pounded with damage, because you know that the only way you're actually losing this game and never coming back is like that Oakenold or that critical on-hit trigger right before you OTK them.
Yeah.
So I see control as more of like an attrition-based strategy, running the opponents out of threats, controlling the amount of damage the threats can do to your life total, and then winning through predefined game plan. Like I don't think you just you're not going to be playing control and it's going to be pretty rare. You're like, oh well, I just saw a good mid-range hand and beat him, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah.
So does that mean, like, to you, if you're like, okay, I'm going to test a control version of, it doesn't matter what it is. Does that mean, okay, I'm throwing the Sinks in, I'm throwing the Fates in, I'm throwing in the Sigils, I'm throwing in any defensive card that I can find? And a Sigil is kind of on the bubble, right? Because it's not even really a defensive card per se, but it can get you an advantage in situations where you actually can't block with your full hand. So what are the actual tangibles? Because I know like a lot of people that listen to you and Hayden talk, you guys talk with such fluidity and like understanding of the game, that sometimes I want to be like, can you slow down for just a second and actually tell me the practical result of this kind of game plan?
So when it comes to the D-reacts and how many you should put in your deck and things like that, if your core game plan, core competency or core game plan is to keep your life total as far above 0 as possible for as long as possible, then yeah, the D-reacts are usually good value. I would ask what the cost of those D-reacts are, past obviously the cost that sits in the top left of the card. So if I run red D-reacts, how often am I going to just brick and not be able to swing my hammer? Because a lot of these times, like let's say you're playing Oldhim, the turn you don't swing your hammer, you're giving your opponent like a 5-card hand for free, which is bad because the 5-card hands will traditionally, at least they should go over the top of your 4-card hands, right? The ones you're planning on defending with, maybe 5. You have the D-react and Arsenal. I don't think that all control decks immediately throw in all the defense reactions in the game, right? But we do have some very effective ones in the form of like Sink Below, Fate Foreseen. These 0 for 4s are particularly effective, right? And most aggro decks that we've seen in Flesh and Blood are their attacks come in for like 4, right?
Yeah.
I guess you could. The outlier here is Starvo, which I think is a version of an aggro deck whose attacks come in for 500, but that's when the immovables and the staunch responses and things come in like that.
Yeah. Okay. So really, what you mean by control is just basically looking at your card pool and valuing the cards when you go into deck building higher that are running your opponent out of threats and keeping you around longer as opposed to pushing your damage to its peak.
Yeah, and I think that control is always I mean, it's hard to define this word, but I would say that it's usually a reactive strategy. Like it sits down in front of its opponent, and its game plan will morph to accommodate that hero most of the time. Whereas, like, if you look at an aggro deck, it's usually going to be a very linear game plan where I'm doing my deck is going to do what it's supposed to do. And it doesn't really matter who's sitting across from me. Like, I'm playing Kano, I'm trying to get to this combo. Or I'm playing Chain, I'm shackling, I'm doing as much damage as I can, and I'm just like, I'm pumping. Whereas with control, you know, my defensive game plan, what I pressure with, if I play CLF or I decide to block instead, like that is going to depend on the opponent that sits across from me. So I think they're mostly reactive strategies rather than proactive.
You think proactive strategies are stronger?
Yeah, and I think that sort of the history has shown that as well. We've had a few, like there's this funny thing that's happened, which is that I think the metas that have had the most dominant aggressive decks have had major tournaments won by fatigue decks and control decks. Most notably Vegas, right? Vegas was peak Chain, and that was won by a fatigue Prism deck. In the Calling Orlando, which is sort of like Briar's breakout tournament, Oldhim won that. Oldhim was a very good deck, and I think was very well positioned and actually ended up to go on to like kind of dominate that format. But at the time, like Oldhim was not seen as like a big threat to Briar, and yeah, I mean it's just like a lot of times when the community consensus is that this is an aggressive meta, you need to be playing the fastest deck possible. Somehow, some way, maybe it's just been coincidence, some defensive deck ends up just taking the win.
And is that why we see Oldhim with 14D reacts and Jersey? I mean, is that really what it comes down to?
So that list, I have no idea. Like, the thing is, I played against it a bit. We tested it, and yeah, I mean, if I was playing Chain, it would be a miserable matchup for sure. If I was playing Briar, it'd be miserable. And I think a lot of the normal Kano builds would struggle into it. But like a Chain and Blitz with the correct amount of blood debt, who lands a time stab, might be able to go over it. I mean, Rhinar can potentially do very well into it. The thing is that I think that deck was beating the mirror, which is really important because there was a lot of Oldhims.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it beat the mirror, and it forced like that kind of list forces the opponent to have a specific game plan to beat it, right? If nobody was expecting it, it's absolutely possible that all of them lose to it, which is what happened.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Brendan. Hey, you got you wanna play a Kano? Are you out of here? What do you think? What's your timeline look like?
I'm good. We can do one more, or like another little series of matches. You just let me know you want to play against. I got the Rhinar or I've got the Kano.
I mean, everybody's got to want to see you play Kano, right? You're a Kano genius. You booted up.
Yeah, this is a funny list here.
What do you think about that history pack, man? How do you feel about the white borders and the way it's positioned?
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm the wrong person to ask because I just don't really have an opinion. Like I don't really care. I love I love this. This is hilarious. I love this. So we in our group, so me, Sasha, and Hayden, whoever was losing during the tournament, and obviously I'm holding it now because I lost. They had to use the white border crucible as like a crucible of shame, and everybody else had cold foils.
That's so great.
Yeah,
that's so
the
great.
The loser has to hold the beacon of this dinky crucible.
I love it. Yeah, I need you to play Kano so I can teach Zach how to play against it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play a Talismanic Lens Kano, which is not my style, and I don't know. I'm just gonna try it out. This deck is pretty spicy. It's got some Cinder and Foresight, stuff like that.
Okay, all right.
Bit of a tempo deck. So I have to ask you, Steven.
Yeah,
you said that The podcast is usually a 5, sometimes a 7, sometimes a 9. What are the differentiating factors that bumps a 5 to a 9, or what's the difference between a 7 and a 5, or a 7 and a 9?
That's a good question. I of course was joking mainly, but in terms of the podcast that I really dig, it's kind of funny. It's probably not a fair assessment because I'm in such a different place, kind of week by week with Flesh and Blood. So, like right now, I'm trying to become very good for this Team Blitz event, which I usually am not terribly concerned with. I kind of treat it as like, sealed and draft and crush it, have a great time with the fundies, and then whatever crazy stuff comes out of constructed, like just kind of be an observer and try to do something fun with unknown stuff. But now that I'm wanting to crush it, like I'm most interested in the kind of stuff I was asking you, like, okay, let's get into the granular realities of how to be a better Flesh and Blood player. And I'm kind of your target audience on that front. Like I heard you guys talking about it. I think it was on the most recent one. I've got to mow like 4 hours a week out at my place. So like I've got some Bluetooth like noise canceling headphones and I just cruise, and you guys are on the rotation. So I was just listening to you talking about how you were approaching the Kano deck and kind of what the idea behind that was, and that made me want to take a closer look at kind of how I was approaching deck building, which is something I haven't given enough thought to in Flesh and Blood. Like with Kasai, I think it's really easy to come into this deck and say, all my value is wrapped up in swinging twice, which is pretty true, and generating copper. So I want to swing twice, and I want to do things that generate copper, which is typically make unexpected moments with attack reactions and be unpredictable so that you don't just, lose to the blockouts. But I think there may be a lot more to it than that when you're thinking about not just, okay, this is the power of my deck, but what are the states, or as you said it, what are the pockets or the moments that I'm looking to create? And it's pretty overt with Kano, like what that is, where, oh, they don't have any cards, I can blow through them with a wildfire for 1 million. But every deck has to be looking to create moments. And listening to you guys' Kano podcast made me appreciate why Zach, I think, is a much better constructed player than I am, is that he also thinks in terms of the moments that these cards can make, rather than the consecutive turn over turn value that they can generate, which is kind of like thinking it as a limited player, thinking of it as a constructed player. It's either value or it's moments. And I think to be really good, you have to think in both. And so like those kinds of podcasts, that kind of content was really helpful for me. Any of the content where I'm actually just like learning about your lives, I pretty much just turn off.
Bummer.
Just kidding. Yeah, no, I love it. I've actually just dug it all. I wish I had more constructive feedback for you, but I would say I think my most constructive feedback from players that are like me, that are like competent enough but looking to go bigger in one of these formats, is basically the specifics. Like literally specifics.
I get that with like other podcasts I listen to, or specifically like other games, when it's like, oh man, there's like some sort of like there's details about this I'm not understanding. But yeah, a lot of it is like, it's the dance of what you sacrifice for brevity, and to get it done in a specific amount of time. And there's only so much time. Yeah, and I think that like it's weird where our podcast is. We'll do even you first.
Okay.
If it's going to, because we used to do like these class 101s, right? These like it's me first. These very scripted sort of breakdowns.
I need AB.
They were quite technical, very long, and like now I think we sort of bring in like a high level topic and then try to let sort of the personalities take it. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but just from like a notes and sort of curated content kind of way.
Yeah, I totally get that, and especially appreciate that the time, time is time, and like it's a lot of time to do these kinds of things. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say how much we appreciate that you are doing that. But I agree. I don't think it's about like, let's do a deep dive on this class or that class, but more that whenever the personality driven conversation kind of drifts into this idea of, I think to beat Oldhim, you really have to worry about making sure your average threat level of your deck stays high. It's the paragraph after that that's like, and what that means is I'm actively pitching reds even when it's not the most efficient turn now, so that I can continue to play reds throughout the game, if that is what it means, which I assume it is.
Yeah. Are you playing just the skull cap here, or are you?
No, I'm playing all of them. Here, I'll just flip them over. It's the whole robe outfit except for the courage.
Okay. Maybe 3.
Yeah.
Got it. All right, so it'll be a tunic up for me. And I will start off with a Kano.
I will say the only way I can keep up with organized play in this game is through listening to your guys' podcast. I have no idea what's happening otherwise.
Neither do I, so I also keep up with my through Hayden giving me the news.
What is that? Sonic for 4? All right, I'll pitch a blue, take 1.
Sure. Trigger. Do I want to thin my deck? Nope. Oh, yeah, pass.
Okay. Okay. Now you've got 4. You got the arsenal. We got to be careful because this is Blitz. Let's not forget. This is Blitz.
Well, you don't have to be that careful because if I comboed you, you would already be dead. The life totals are pretty crazy if you actually draw the pieces you need off the bat.
Okay.
Someone asked if we solve Blitz. I think it's actually like kind of an interesting like quick topic that me and you talked about before we hopped on, which is you go into a team Blitz event. The most important thing is that the players on your team are playing things that they're practicing, they're comfortable on, and that they'll play tight. So I think that in an event like this, like breaking a single deck, while it's good, it's definitely not bad. It has the least impact, less impact than it would in like an individual player event, like a CC. It's for 4.
For 4, generate a generate 2 coppers if it hits this one or the next one.
2 and is the next one 4 as well?
It'll be 2, the next one. Unless I do crazy stuff, depending on your hand.
Could be crazy. All right. I'm going to block this one for 5.
Okay. So this is where I'm feeling safe.
Yeah, you are safe.
So Outland Skirmish. And then swing in for 5.
I'm at 15, sorry. Yep, I'll take 5 down 10.
Okay. So that's going to generate 1 copper, 2, 3 copper, 4 copper for the ability there.
4 copper.
That's right. Copper's life.
All right. Yep. I'm going to Sonic Boom for 4.
Oh, that old thing. It's called pressuring the blues, is what the kids call it.
Justin, I don't like Lens either. I'm just playing it. I'm trying to see if you can build a deck that is worth playing Lens. I kind of hate the. I mean, it's a great card, but it pales in comparison to its counterpart. But I'm trying to play like a low to ground tempo deck and see if it's possible to play Talismanic Lens. I think it's probably still just strictly worse though.
You got no cards in hand?
Nope.
No money.
No money.
This is a classic chip, Brendan. Classic chip.
Well, it also does reduce the cost of the next thing off the top.
Yeah. That would be too good for you.
Well, it could be a blue, so
can't let that happen. We could also, we got a little dance going on here. This little dance we're doing here.
Oh yeah, we're dancing?
We're dancing, man. We're dancing.
I feel naked without my ragamuffins, I'm not gonna lie.
And you got Arsenal there too.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pitch and take one there.
Cool. Trigger. Sure, I'll play for one.
You got me.
Nice.
Boy, that was good. Glad I didn't let that one through, huh?
Yeah. Would have been good if it hit. I think in that context is not the best.
Okay. Let's go. Let's see, 10-17. This gets pretty fascinating. I'm gonna pitch this swing for 2. Pitch that red.
Yeah, no blocks.
No reactions.
Sure.
And then I will pass.
You will pass. Interesting. Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Okay.
Two to go.
Yeah.
Crucible and reverberate for 4.
It's a good one.
I feel like reverberate's not that good in AB3.
Yeah, but if I don't block it, it is.
Could be. I feel like it has the same effect if you block it or don't block it.
Oh, that's true.
Someone asked. Go ahead.
That's 4. What do you pay for? And then 4 arcane, and then you banish a thing from your hand. You can play it.
Yep. Someone asked about Ragamuffin's hat. Ragamuffin's hat is just like infinitely less variance than the Talismanic Lens because you get to guarantee the card of your hand. I don't think you can play combo Kano without it unless you're trying to get lucky. But this isn't a combo Kano deck.
I think we're going for it here. I'll take 4. This is the moment in the game where you gotta figure it out. Yeah.
Lessons in Lava.
That for 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let you go get anything you want. That's crazy.
Yep. Tutor.
Can't let that happen.
Don't you have like a sunk cost fallacy? You can't give me a card now.
I think I can. I'm not a fallacy guy. Yep. I'll block 3.
Sure.
Okay.
Dope.
Okay. Let's try this out.
Yep. That's right, Trace. You can do it in response to your Kano, not let it resolve.
Pitch this red, swing the Centauri. 2 cards in hand.
Block for 2.
Okay. And I'll pass.
Sure. Go to my turn. Start her off with a Kano. Ooh. Centering Foresight, opt 3. And the next one gets +1. Opt 3. Oh. All right, top, bottom. Okay, now again, reveal the Emeritus and come in for 5 here.
Five, your turn. No cards in hand.
Correct, yeah.
That's a good question. Yikes. Let's take 5.
Oh, sorry, it's for 6. Because the
Oh, come on. Why am I not taking 6? All right, take 6, sure. Let's see. We'll get another one in here.
What's going on over there? You're not pitching for my Kanos, and you're just passing.
Yeah, I've got. There are things that I wanted to happen that I am kind of setting up here. So we're gonna start with blood on our hands. Crack 4. Your choice if you want to go now or not.
Nope, resolves.
All right. So we'll do go again and attack twice on both. We'll crack courage here. And swing for T.
No blocks.
Doing it again.
No. Good double buff. No blocks.
Okay. Swing for 2.
Yep, no blocks.
I'm gonna give it +3.
Yeah. 2 cards in hand.
That's right.
All right, I'm gonna lens. So we have resources. Definitely top. God, this is infinitely harder without Ragamuffin time. Incredible. It's 1 Kano. And then we have 7 resources. 5. That's 2. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Hopefully I don't mess up the resources here. Off Tunic, Metacarpus no trigger. I'll pay. 2 floating. And this is gonna be 4, 6.
Yeah. So let me tell you. That is the
Rare.
that was the wrong thing to do.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
What happened?
I effectively forced you, and this happens in Flesh and Blood, and I think it's really important to talk about, because like I effectively, my plan was to hold blood on our hands we've had for like 2 turns, 3 turns, and hit a hand that's a couple of blues, and then go into the blood, do the big swings, hold 2 blues in hand, and like hopefully be able to keep the Striders away. But I had 2 reds. So like 3 cards here, if I don't react here and I'm just showing 3, and then I just swing again.
My Tunic.
Yeah, and just swing again for 2, you block, and you don't go off that turn, right?
Nope. I just poke you down and do it later.
So instead, I made a bluff, and then I forced you to call the bluff, which kills me.
Yeah, I mean with the lens, so like even if this came in for 3, this would be for 6. Let's say that I hit for 3 again, then this is for 6.
Yeah.
So
it's still there.
It's 9 damage minimum.
I think my thinking with Kasai, and I don't know if this is right, but I think you probably do just have to try to get you in blood on your hands range, and then you have to have a couple of blues on that turn. Because it's 1 card out of hand, but no resources to do 4 swings. And so my thinking is like, try to hold as many cards as possible and not die.
I think you just want to push, well, to an extent.
You think you just go hard?
Right? Not too hard, but like you want to make me have it. You want to let me draw into it and just like just be chilling as I set up.
Let's try that one.
Yeah. I mean, the reverberate there was pretty good for me. Yeah. Talismanic lens. So it'll be you first.
Sure.
Give me that gasolina.
Yeah, when you're Kano, like, do you like when I attack into you on the first turn?
Depends. 5 reds? Yes. 5 blues? No. But I mean, it really depends, right? It depends on my hand. Like if I have 4 blues, I might even let you do a little bit of damage to me. Use your action point and then burn you on your turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I'm just gonna pass.
Okay.
Got any shenanigans?
Yeah, I'm gonna pitch this to Crucible and then pass.
Okay.
Cool.
Get that blazing out of there.
Yeah. Alrighty. Reverberate for 4. Man, this card is so much better when there's no AB.
I think I'm gonna pitch for that. Yeah, I'm gonna pitch 3 for that.
Sure. Take 1 and lessen lava.
Okay. Just coming in for 3 and a Surge. That's good. That's real good. I wonder if it's even worth, like, on that reverberate, maybe you just... Nah, because, like, banishing the 2 is really bad, too. Okay. So that gets you the wildfire. You throw it in the arsenal, so you definitely have it then.
Actually goes on top of my deck, so...
So it goes to the arsenal next turn.
Yeah, it doesn't come in hand.
Yeah. Okay, let's take 3.
I have to think about what to get. It's a non-zero chance that it's just a Gaze the Ages. What card is good in my hand? I'm gonna top Gaze here.
Okay.
Old school Kano play. I probably gotta top the different blue, actually, more correct. Just top like the blue Voltix and potentially burn. God, these tomes are making me want to throw up. So bad.
Start of the turn, none other than Dorinthia coming in for the mentorship there.
Sure.
So these guys are +1, and then 3 less encounters, 3 hits. You know what?
Blood on her hands.
Blood on her hands goes in there.
Sure.
All right, let's go then. You said to go fast. Let's try. Slice and dice red. You got any reactions?
How many cards do you have?
2.
How much? It just gives plus something.
+1, +3. Yeah.
+1 and +3.
+1 to the first, 3 to the second. Yeah.
Okay, no blocks.
It's our best card, Brendan.
Or no reaction. I mean, I've never had someone resolve it on me. They're always dead.
Yeah, okay, let's see how this goes then. Pitch this yellow. Swing this here Spectral Shield for 4. 1 card in hand. 1 float.
Yep. Took the 4. Down to 11.
Yellow Blade Runner.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna swing for 3, +3, 6, 7, 8. Coming at you.
Okay. Kano.
Yeah.
Can't. Maybe I can kill you. Let's talk about damage. So we have 6. We draw 2. And with Kano, I need to find one more spell. This could be greedy, but
If you can't do that on a wizard deck, what are you doing?
Crucible, 1 floating. Yeah, I think we just play this. 2 floating. We want to use all of our resources. Probably nodes. So that will be for 6.
I have no response.
Yep. And then this one will be for 7.
No
And
response.
then yeah, I'll draw 2 cards. Oh. Well, we may not find it. I have to find a 1 cost off this Kano. Kano?
Boom.
Boom.
You didn't find a 1 cost, you found a 0 cost.
I could have talismanic lens too.
See, there's no way. There's no way you're supposed to erase that. That's not possible.
Well, I mean, I said pressure me. I didn't say pull your pants down. Like that was
All right, let's try one more. Let's see the middle ground here. Let's see the middle ground. Okay.
It's like you're like didn't even lens, yeah.
Well, people said erase, you know. I don't think that's the right idea.
You told me to race. I tried to race.
I
It
tried
didn't
to
work.
race. I played the cards. I played on my cards.
The wildfire early arsenal's nice. Yeah, I could have lens there. I didn't even lens. Basically playing without the headpiece.
You went first, like you go. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, sure. This deck also has no Voltic Bolts or Spindles, which I think is like actively bad.
Who built that trash?
Who built this trash? Kano. That's good, just not on turn 1. All right, Kano.
That's pretty
Plus
good.
2. Yeah, plus 2, plus 2.
Yeah.
Went for 6. Build your own Voltic Bolt. Who needs the Voltics?
Yeah. Okay, let's pitch 3 there. Take 3.
Yep. All you. God, you guys are really popular with the Tinder XYZ, eh?
It's crazy, yeah. I think it's because they know that it's just some of the most attractive dudes in here.
Are you sure it's not based off your Google search history?
I hope not. All right, so cards that are good here. Play a red spoils. Let's pitch that blue.
Okay.
2 floating here. And then let's swing for 4. 1 floating, 2 cards in hand.
Sure. Sure. No blocks.
Okay. Uh-huh. Let's do Brave Forge, swing for 3. Go block with an attack.
Play this off 3. Very nice. Kano. Draw 2.
Oh, come on. Come on, who is this guy? You hated the tomes early, and now you're toming like it's the easiest thing in the
Come
world.
on.
Come on, man. What is this?
This is a very aggressive lens, but since I don't use it anyway, I'll go ahead and lens. Oh my goodness, Steven, you're dead. Ooh. Oh, when they run hot. Holy shenanigans. That's crazy.
I think you're sold on lens now, aren't you?
Nah, I still hate lens. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So if we Kano again, Kano again, we got 3 and then 5. Oh my god, we're perfect, Steven. We are perfect, but we can't pump. That's fine.
Is this okay? Is it okay that the game does this?
I mean, I'm having fun. Like,
Is this playing games?
I will come in for 5 actually.
Black 3, take 2 there.
All right. Well, you blocked the wildflower.
Should be fine, right?
Ooh, I'm missing a boots resource actually.
Did the thing I was supposed to. Ah, right. Yes.
Well,
haven't cracked him yet, at least.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm missing the boots resource. Huh. Okay, we'll call this one a punt. I should have +2'd this. I think you would be dead if I
just do that.
Depending on what I hit.
Yeah, just do that.
Oh, you want me to do that?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we really shouldn't put this on top because you're definitely dead if I hit that. So we'll put that one on bottom, unknown on top. So this would be, would we double bump? Yeah, because we wouldn't Kano, so we have the blue, and we go ahead and we double pump here, float the button, and this would hit for 4.
Hits for 4, yeah. So I lose 2 more there.
Yeah, and then we boots. That's gone. Maybe Sonic Boom. 1 float. This is coming in for just 7.
Does 1 off of this matter, whether it's now or later? The red? Is there any better use of that card?
No.
Okay. I'll just use it now.
So, like, I'm Blazing Ether. It wouldn't, yeah.
Do it now, it takes 6.
I could hit a potion here. Nah, I'll just hit another Sonic Boom. Oh, this is why people play Lens. Oh my god. This is like 40 damage. Hilarious.
All right, well.
What do you think about the design of Wizard in Flesh and Blood?
Oh, man. I have a lot to say about that. Well, I mean, let me tell you. Let's start with the good.
Good. Yep.
So I think in a game like we were talking about, Flesh and Blood. Here, I'll even give you the face cam here. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I get on the soapbox here. So in a game like Flesh and Blood, there's only so many axes that exist, which is why I like it in a lot of ways. It's pretty straightforward. Games don't need a lot of axes to be enjoyable. You're evaluating the amount of damage you can do either direction, trying to find the greatest value. There's an element of bluffing where you're having to guess what's in your opponent's hand, if they have it or if they don't have it. And there's a poker element to that. So there's a secondary axis, which is the way that you've constructed your deck that is driven by your resource curve. So like, obviously, like we were talking about earlier, you have 0 for 4 red defense reacts. You have red 0 for 4 attacks would go again, Cheerio style stuff. So one interesting axis that you can attack on the game is the resources. So we saw that in like Frostbite and those kinds of things. And I think arcane damage, I hope it had a philosophical reason to exist. I think the idea of arcane damage was that it was really designed to tax low resource decks. And so like wizards would have an easy time with people who were like trying to just like slap in the face. And then they'd have a hard time.
Check, right.
Yeah, they'd have a hard time against like the anybody who's willing to like pitch a blue on their turn to kind of like be like, I've got arcane shields. Which is not exactly an awesome place to be for any class, really, where like they're going to do well if the opponent doesn't have arcane barrier or money, but they're never going to be able to win if they do. So you don't necessarily want to build it that way either. So then I feel like you kind of stick yourself in a spot where like we need Wizard to be able to win games where people have arcane barrier, and then at that point it's like, but wait a minute. There are variance-driven moments in a wizard game where you can just do 60 damage. And it's like, I'm not sure that's good. Is that good?
So the fun part of it is pretty much one-sided, right? That
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest complaint about Wizard, and I'd probably agree with that. That being said, I think that Wizard serves a very important purpose from like its design aspect. It's not just resources; it's also sideboard slots. I mean, just staying honest to an extent. But should Wizard only be able to beat low AB? I think still no. Should it be able to beat decks with AB, but it's hard? I mean, I think that's fine. The thing is like Wizard is actually not like it depends how you build your deck, of course. Wizard's not about low arcane barrier. It's about creating windows. Um, and you tempo on you play a card on your turn, take a card out of their hand. Now we're on the opponent's turn. They pitch a card to play a card, and potentially they only have one card in hand if it's not a weapon. And that's when you go. The thing is that like Wizard now has some cards. Aether Wildfire, which I mean they banned Stir too, which is just hilarious because Stir I wouldn't even be playing Stir in my deck to be honest.
Right. Yeah.
But like Aether Wildfire with the pumps, I mean people like, and by the way, playing Stir before Aether Wildfire is 2 energy potions at least, so it's not a very reasonable thing to do. And I don't know if that's something they considered, but Wildfire even through AB3 hits for 2. And if you're like, okay, I'll just pack AB5, it's like you're not gonna have the cards. And if you are keeping the cards for specifically that Wildfire, you'll have taken so much damage by me playing spells on my turn because the Wizard can also double spell on its own turn. Like if you don't pressure it, it has 4 blues and an attack spell. It's got a Kano, hit something, ideally something that does over 2 damage. Poke you and then come in with another spell, so it can double spell there too. And then I love how Wizard has this like sort of trap card to just play two sides of the turn cycle at any time. I think it's a really important deck. So there was original like the card Drone of Brutality. They ended up banning it, but that card wasn't balanced at all. But James White, I had dinner with him after the Austin Calling with Sasha, and like Drone of Brutality was actually a big issue in Limited. Obviously, it ended up breaking the constructed format, but in Limited, it was ridiculous. We're like, what is the like? What we asked him, what's the solution to Drone of Brutality? He literally said this is before anything was revealed. He said Wizard, because Wizard, I guess, it just stops those. It stops a few things, right? It stops greedy decks that can't pitch, right? That play like all reds or whatever, or people. Then it also stops. It's very punishing to decks that want to be greedy to have more tech cards for the meta. They cut down their arcane barrier. There's going to be no wizards or whatever. And then at the last part, it beats control decks, like period, like fatigue decks. It's a pain in the butt now, but like Kano beats that because like we haven't even been deck stacking. But if you deck stack with Kano, you deck stack blazing. Like there was a deck in the first Blitz format at the first Auckland Calling that was just Kano OTK, just OTK everything, with double blazing. It's very annoying and punishing to set up, but I mean that beats all arcane barrier. That combo does use Stir, so now they've took Stir out. It's quite a bit harder because you can't like go over the top no matter what they do. But yeah, like I think that it's sort of been ideated to be a fun class, right? It plays on different axes from any other class. It beats these like theoretically these really heavy control decks. It beats aggro decks that pack a lot of red, and it just beats decks that have decided to forego their arcane barrier to get extra edges and an extra edge in another matchup. So I love Wizard. I love the design of the class. I love the way it plays, but I do understand that the gameplay of Wizard is for fun wise is absolutely zero sum.
Well, the other
It's
thing,
not fun to play against.
there's a couple of things there too, because like it's punishing those things for sure, but like I don't feel like running Blue's arcane barrier and swinging conservatively actually increases my odds of winning against Wizard. It's like what do you do whenever like, oh, you're actually doing what you're supposed to do, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I used to mention this a lot back in Skirmish Season 1, Season 2, because there's a lot of like Toll, Dorinthia, Ira, and I guess there was like Fringe Kano. And like everybody has Arcane Barrier in this format. The Warrior has a reasonable amount of blues. Ira had a pretty reasonable amount of blues, and like there's two strategies. You could think, you could block things you thought mattered. You could hold back cards when you thought it was appropriate, or you could just absolutely disregard everything and just monkey into the Kano. And arguably, the second strategy was harder to beat because the Kano deck, like, it just has to give you it has to give you the cards to beat them, and sometimes you don't. And they can do 15 damage on turn one. Like that's what this deck currently in this format. Like you take this to, like, let's say one of your teammates is on this deck. They get paired against this guy. They die turn 0 and they Kano 2 blues off the top. I mean, that's it. That's the match. So it's a risky deck. But yeah, it's definitely zero sum on the fun side, because the Kano's playing the game. You're kind of, but mostly not playing the game when you're against Kano, right?
Yeah, well, it feels like there should be, or that the philosophical underpinning of the class was that the game being played against Kano was going to be more interesting. Like it was going to be a more excruciating decision between resources here on this turn, and then my turn is a little less powered, but I'm not just like dead regardless of which way I do it, which I think feels that way in Blitz against Kano quite a bit, that like there's really not a right choice, because the slower you play, like the more they can just set up a combo that doesn't care about your Arcane Barrier, and the faster you play, the less Arcane Barrier you can activate. And so it's kind of like, it feels like it's stuck in the middle of first of all just being great, and more cards that come out for Wizard, like you're going to be more and more consistent over time, so that's something to look for. But then secondarily, like on Arcane Barrier as a whole, check this out. What is the concession? I mean, if we're really saying this class exists so that everyone has 3 less sideboard slots, like, why do that? Like, why is that interesting? You could just as well give Arcane Barrier to every hero and say you only get 77 slots.
It's not interesting from a gameplay perspective, but it's interesting from like a sociological perspective, right? Where it's it's just like this it's so simple to put it in your, if you actually believe it'll give you an edge, which, like, I mean, usually it's non-zero better for you to have Arcane Barrier in your deck rather than not against Kano. It's just usually it's 2 additional cards, not 3. It's usually 2, because you're packing 1 for the Rune Blades. But people will cut those 2 cards for, maybe to get a 2% edge in an additional matchup.
Yeah.
But then they take the 595 against Kano now. But even if you looked at the Pro Tour, the amount of Kanos that showed up, I think it was 7 Kanos showed up. 2 made top 8. Like, it's just, and I don't know, it's just I think it's my favorite class in Flesh and Blood. I like what it does to competitive play as well, because I think that the Kano specifically has been purposely designed to, like, kind of suck. And I know that sounds really weird in the context of like how successful he's been recently, but this deck, if this deck is not doing something fundamentally unfair with like Aether Wildfire, Bubble Spell on its turn, it actually starts at like 15 life or 30 life, and then does like 2 damage or like 5 damage a turn. That's hilariously terrible to Chain, who's doing 20, right?
Right.
So these like these multiplicative arcane effects, like what used to be Aether Flare and is now Aether Wildfire, like they punish. I mean, they're what allows Kano to even be like a playable deck. Someone in the chat said they should have banned Wildfire. I actually don't think that Wildfire should be banned. It's uninteractive if you have no AV, but if you have AV, it's interactive. And those games for Kano they're still tough. But yeah, I mean, when you see Aether Wildfire do 130 damage to somebody, then you're like, oh, this card's broken. I don't think so. I think it's fair.
So what's the answer to, like, okay, here's the real question. A deck like, let's say Kasai, like we have here. What is
In Blitz, though?
What is Kassadi to beat Kano in Blitz?
So there's a lot of Kano hate that exists in the game already. Like you have the prayer card. That card is ridiculously good against Wildfire. Obviously, you have to have it, and I don't even recommend you play it in your deck if you're playing like a linear or aggressive strategy. But like Kano hate exists, and like even particularly Guardians have Steadfast, which
It's
is
so good. They've got hate against everything. They're so good against everything. You know, it's like
I mean, Steadfast is a mistake. I don't know why they printed that card. It's not cool. It's not fun, and it's just like, God, I don't even like. It's just so silly to me. But yeah, I mean, like, I forget what we were talking about. Once I hear Steadfast, I always have like a,
like what is the? I mean, how many classes have play into? Let's say in Blitz into Kano, right? So Chain just tries to go super fast. Is that right?
Yeah, but it also has Spell Void, right? So it can tap out, or it can have like no resources and still interact with the Kano deck. Obviously it can pitch for Arcane Barrier like everything else.
Rhinar tries to do Rhinar things, standard, right?
Yeah.
They don't really do Arcane Barrier much. Skullhorn Gloves, maybe?
I mean, they can't, like, that's the thing, is you can always add it, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, can your resource base even support it?
Right.
That's what happens with all these Rune Blades, but that's just the way their decks are built. That's the price of power. They don't have the blues. Yeah, I just think that I even though I guess to an extent I exploited this deck, but I think that this deck is like super fair. Generally, it's kind of bad, and it's like extremely technical as well, right? Like not the one where you go off like what I just did to you was not technical. I just went off the top and Sonic Boom did a Sonic Boom, but like setting up the combo, getting it by turn 2, turn 3 in Class Constructor where you're at 30 life and Star Wars doing 9 or 11 to you per turn. Like I think that's a perfectly reasonable meta for Kano to be good.
It feels better constructed.
Yeah, well, I mean, in Blitz, so I think that the Kano feel bads come from, like, because I played against Kano and I felt bad, is when you go against the players that are playing, like, 17, 15 blues, and they just kind of rip them off they start just Kanoing and just ripping the gas off the top, and it's just like, I don't know what to do here. But Kano does have some long games. I think, some other heroes do. I mean, we're just coming out of Starvo meta, so I think we should all be pretty familiar with non-games by now.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Someone said they want more ways to interact with Arcane. Like, I don't want any more Steadfast or prayers. Like, I think there's enough. I think it's enough. I think anything else is just gonna kill Kane. Like if they ban Wildfire, this deck would be unplayable unless people like literally just didn't have Arcane Barrier in their deck.
Yeah. What's the last thing just on the Blitz format as a whole, getting ready for Vegas? A lot of people are probably watching that are doing that. Do you think you do? What's the advice on how to beat Kano?
Well, I don't think that Kano is your biggest worry at all. But there is some advice I have for just the Vegas and team event in general, which is it's less important that you reinvent the wheel and surprise everybody, and more important that all three of you play very good decks you're practiced on, and play tight. Like the numbers will favor you far more if you do that, rather than if you do find a broken deck, then yeah, it's great. But I think the payoff is significantly less than it usually would be because you've got two other decks that have to play. So just play what you're comfortable with. Understand what Blitz is. Like Blitz is not fair Flesh and Blood. So don't play a fair deck if you want to have any good chance. And then just make sure you're well practiced, comfortable, and you understand like your matchups. And it's just consistency, like a 3v3 team format. You guys just have to play well more than you have to out deck build people, in my opinion.
Right. All right, last question for you, Brendan, before we get out of here. Well, I want to give you a chance to wax about anything you'd like in your sphere. But what do you think about Icelander? Too fair?
Icelander is very fair. The version you're playing is way too fair, for sure. Can it become unfair? I don't know with the current card pool. Maybe, right? Yeah. Icelander's just a bit slow, too. So I know our Rhinar games are pretty close, but I think there's going to be a lot of Rhinar non-games at that. You're going to face a lot of Oldhim, et cetera, et cetera. I don't see it. but I think if it is going to be successful, it will be a version that I am not aware of yet.
Right. How tantalizing. All right. Well, I appreciate you so much for joining and for hanging out for so long. I didn't really expect it to go on like this. Anything you want to say to anybody watching, or where to catch you, what you guys have coming up, or how to support you?
Yeah, I mean, not again, but I just want to say thank you so much for having me on, Steven. It's always fun. It's always fun to play. It's great to hang out with you. I hope we get to meet in person soon.
You're going to Vegas, aren't you?
I'm probably coming to Oklahoma for your ProQuest. I got to go take that trophy.
Oh.
In Covenant.
Well, I heard that last time went down here, and then like day of, I got like a random notice that Brendan wasn't coming. So
yeah, the mono was just like the mono was brutal. I was like, I can't do the 4 hour, but this time I'm good. I'm good to go. So I'm gonna come up there for the weekend and do the Edmund and then do the Team Covenant.
Okay, sick. Yeah.
So we meet there. But yeah, for anybody else watching, hope you enjoyed. Good luck in the tournaments if you're playing the Blitz. The Blitz team calling's coming up. It's gonna be very exciting. Get to play Uprising. Vegas is a bit expensive, but if you're able to make it out, I think it's gonna be a great time. For me, I'm part of a podcast called Arsenal Pass. We do a little bit of stuff on YouTube as well. Mostly, I guess our claim to fame is that we're a competitive podcast made by competitive players, with our target audience being people that want to get better at the game. And hopefully we do a good job doing that. So we're on pretty much every podcast platform where you can find us, and we release an episode every single week. Other than that, I hope to see everybody in Vegas so I can take some names and finally collect my trophy. It's a long time coming.
And I will say, for my part, definitely check out the Arsenal Pass Patreon as well. I know that keeps you guys going, and that makes all the difference in these kinds of efforts. Getting the resources to even keep that going and to keep moving forward with the podcast. So everybody who is not, or who appreciates Arsenal Pass that's not on that Patreon, go sign up. What's your lowest tier?
I think it's about $4 is the Sink Below tier. We sort of reorganized it, so you pretty much get all the benefits no matter what tier you're at. But we do like extra podcasts. We do like deck techs all the time on YouTube, and we put up like detailed guides. Mostly like the content's the content on Patreon is really going to help you if you're just trying to go to a ProQuest, even if you want to spike an armory. But if you want like a good competitive deck with updated notes from a professional level player, whether it's myself or Hayden or somebody else we brought on, like Tyler Horsepool we have coming this week, and as well as Yuki soon. That's the kind of stuff we have on the Patreon. Just really that pick up, ready to go play, kind of notes and write-ups.
Awesome. Well, Brendan, hey, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. I do appreciate it, and can't wait to see you in Vegas.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, man.
See ya.
All right, we did it. Well, thank you everybody for watching, for joining us. Hopefully that was worth having. That was certainly a blast. For me, I think we've successfully gotten the correct take, which is don't bring the fair decks into the Blitz format. So if you're going to Vegas, break this thing wide open, take no prisoners, and don't get too clever. Thank you guys for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll see everybody hopefully a couple of weeks from now. So we've got next week we're off, and then week after that, Zach and I will be jamming Blitz games Monday and Tuesday before we head to Vegas for the world premiere. And before I get out of here, huge shout out to Colin from our Discord and entered our Fabled Event Package contest. Won that Fabled Event Package, is going to Vegas for free in terms of the event, at least. I guess the hotel and travel is still the biggest bear there. But has won that contest and is going to be going to Vegas on essentially Legend Stories dime. So that's tight. Thank you everybody for joining that contest. We had over 100 people sign up for that, and it's been just awesome to be able to do that for folks, and those were all subscribers as well. So love having everybody subscribe, getting booster boxes through that service. And one more thing, Zach's usually pretty good at covering all these bases, but I do want to say, so like there's weird little statements and signals and stuff about Uprising and about like the supply of first edition. I just mean like the first bit of boxes. I don't know how that all is going to work, how that's going to release. I think there's a lot of question marks about that. I know Rudy was posting some stuff, and there's been various things from retailers about supply of that and kind of what the expectation is. But we are going to be processing those Flesh and Blood subscriptions very soon. So if you're looking for a place to get those boxes at MSRP guaranteed, it's free shipping in the US at 3 or more. You don't have to scramble during release day to see if they're available. And I have a sneaking suspicion that there is going to be less out there than people expect. And that the intent is to have them in MSRP whenever they release. So you can get those boxes locked in now. You can also get exclusive promos with your boxes. I haven't seen the promo yet for Uprising, but I have some subjective evidence that it might be one of the most important promos that we've ever got, in line with like the early Scar for a Scar. So again, I don't know what it is. I've had whisperings about it. I've been talking to folks over at Legends Store. I don't know the exact card, but it's like, hey, it's a good one. It's like a really good one. No, but really, like, it's like very important. So if that's interesting to you and you want to make sure you get those don't ever show up after the subscriptions are processed. Please don't miss out on that, and go over to the website and grab some boxes on that subscription. I think that's all I have for everybody. If anybody has any questions, nope, don't need to become famous on Twitch. We appreciate you all being here. Thanks so much, and I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you next time.